Oof. Well, here we go. And we're
There we
on.
go.
Yeah. Who knew?
Do you by chance know what number this is?
Ooh, I think we're at 13 or 14.
Okay.
Pretty close to that. So we're over the 10 hump,
Okay, perfect.
right?
That's good.
And so we'll be closing in on 20 probably.
Perfect. And I remember you gave me the stats for up to 10, how many people do it, and then up to 30 and all that. So,
Yep. So up to 10, 90% of people quit after 10 or before 10.
okay.
Then of the 10%, only I think half of that, well, more than half, make it to 20.
Got it.
So after 20 is where you start getting this huge drop off. And,
Okay.
you know, there it is.
There it is. Well, progress is progress.
All the progress. We need it all.
All right. Well, before we start, you got to talk about your coaching that's coming up because I only know about from social media, even though we talk on the
Yeah.
podcast.
So, my friend, good buddy of mine named Joe Riggio, he owns a gym called, he owns a gym called Varsity House. And then he runs a program through a business called his other business called Business of Strength. Right. And so they put on a program called Weight Room Wealth. And so I've been invited to speak at Weight Room Wealth. Second day opening up speaker. And so I'll be out there giving a talk and basically going through some resilience, grit strategies, along with a quick little ditty on leadership, like this framework I've used for leadership for the last 26 years now? Yeah, 26
Yeah.
years. Um, it's essentially the same thing I've used for 26 years and how I build teams, how I try and create culture, how I work with subordinate leaders and then everybody, just the whole kind of universe. So we'll do that and run
Don't
about.
forget to mention the podcast and newsletter. There you
Yeah, yeah.
go.
Yeah, we'll mention it all. And there's about 50 people are supposed to be in attendance.
Oh, that's dope.
They all own gyms and managers and the whole nine. Um, and Joe's a stud, man. He's a stud businessman, stud of a dude. We hunted together in Australia, and I met him through Summer Strong, through Sornex, of course.
Mhm. That's your hub.
Yeah, yeah. The Sornex is the Thai, but just a fantastic human and really well read, smart guy. You know, when you meet him, you just think he's Jersey, and then when you
Mhm.
really get to know him, you know, oh, like this guy is just a wealth of knowledge, not just gym knowledge, just in general business, you know. And so, and actually, I'll be going hunting with him next June or July. We're going to Argentina to hunt red stag. So,
That is cool.
yeah, man, super good. But I'm excited. Anytime I get a chance to get up and share, and
Do you want to hint at some of the topics so that when we can like share some of those topics, clip it up a little bit fun?
I'm gonna do something. I'll do something a little different. 1 second.
Okay.
Let me bring it up real quick. We'll talk about the leadership part. The other part we'll keep hitting. Because leadership part, I'm not doing the whole gig. Um, but I've talked about it enough where it's not a secret. All right. So I have this leadership framework I've used for, like I said, the last 26 years, and I kind of built it on accident. And what I mean by that is I was assuming a new leadership role. And one of my mentors was like, hey, man, you should probably write down all the things that you do for leadership, like how, why, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that sounds stupid.
How old were you?
I was probably 28, man. Who knows? Something like that. And I was like, that
That's hilarious.
sounds dumb.
That sounds like homework.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't do it. But then after that, at some point in time, he hit me up about it again. And I was like, fine. And so I started just making little points, like little, onesie, twosie notes and thinking about how I do things, how I want to do things, how I wish things were, and all these other things. And so I came out with this list of, and some of these are just to be real, some of them are blatantly stolen
Mhm.
from things that I admired about leadership.
You know what this reminds me of? The TV show NCIS, and Gibbs, he has random rules that he hasn't, numbered with no particular order, and that's a character on the show. This reminds me of that for some reason right now.
Nice. I forgot about that show, all the 17 versions of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so I'll read a couple of them, or we can read them all. It doesn't matter to me.
go for it.
Um, Two words typically define success: can't and won't. And so I think it's self-explanatory, but you know what I mean? Somebody can't do something or somebody won't. I can fix can't. I can't fix won't, you know?
Mhm.
And so a lot of times when I'm doing something or I'm building a team or whatever else, if you can't, cool. That's what we're here for, right? That's what leadership and training and everything is here for, is to fix can't. But we can't fix won't. If you won't do the job,
Yeah,
you
that makes
gotta go.
sense. That's good
Yeah.
actually.
And so I like to I think if you boil it down that way, it makes everything a lot simpler. And that's kind of the goal of this, is like, if I have to go away tomorrow and you have to step in my shoes and you don't have any leadership training or whatever, you can look at this and be like, and you can go, oh, he won't do the job. You're out of, you know?
Next.
Yeah. All right. So here's the other one. Despise mistakes. Mistakes happen. Learn from them, use them to become better, but hate them. And make sure your subordinates hate them as well. And so one of the things was kind of like being able to establish a calendar where you can fail, right? And so you can fail early. And then when it comes time to not fail because it matters, we've got it all out the way. Or at the bare minimum, I know who's strong at what and who's weak at what. So when it comes time to do this job on the most important day of the week or whatever it is, hey, you can't be on the cash register.
Yeah,
you
today it has to be done right.
Yeah, yeah, you can't be on the floor because you curse people out, or whatever your job is or whatever your thing.
Mhm.
And so you as a leader understanding that and also giving your people enough leeway, say like, hey man, Mondays we don't get any customers. So if we're gonna fail, today's the day to fail.
Yeah. It's like, when it's the preseason, you can practice, but
Exactly.
when
Well, see,
it's when it's
I
the
was gonna
playoffs.
that's normally what I do. I normally
Yeah.
talk about it in football
Yeah,
terms.
okay.
Yeah, because to me, it's just that's what it is. Hey, preseason, we get to figure this out, get the ball rolling, get all the kinks out and everything else, and then as we move into it, like I need execution,
Yeah,
right?
makes total sense.
Multiplier mentality. So this is a seminar I went to when I was in Hawaii. I cannot remember the person's name who ran it, but regardless, the big takeaway is, and I've always believed this anyways, but they just call it the multiplier mentality, so it made it easy. Make those around you better, impart knowledge, share, and train your future replacement. So, um, again, there's so many people who like they have to hold on to the thing, right? And they can't give it up, because if they give it up, then what will they do? What job will they have? Oh my God. And so
Yeah, let's dive into this one a little bit because this is kinda like, how you're saying it, that would be their identity because it's like, they can't let go of it because this is the identity that they think they are. It's the and letting go of it would be the ego again. Once you let go of it and you in like, first thing I said to you, like, I wanna do this in a Rat Pack kinda format where all of us can kinda win together and bring some more friends into it and have some more fun with it. Uh, if you always have to be at the top, nobody is good at everything,
that's it.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not just for me, it's even deeper than that, in the sense of nobody's good at everything, but holistic standpoint. I need you to take off. I need you to take time off, right? What if you get hurt, right? Um, what if you're better suited to be a visionary and not a day-to-day guy? Especially as a leader, I need you down here. I need you down there. 24 weeks, 16 weeks, 52 weeks. I don't need you right here day to day. Train your future replacement. This guy can run the office. I don't need you to run the office. And so I think that's also the other thing. And then two, creating a team of people who are in the know it just makes things easier, right? Like if I miss something, if I don't miss something, if they miss something, we all know, oh, John's supposed to have a meeting right now, right? And John's off because he had a stressful morning. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just being able to kind of understand and whatever. And I think that just, it's a big deal. Knowledge difficulty. And so I think this is one a lot of people in leadership and management have a hard time with, saying, hey, man, this task is hard. In fact, it sucks. But the reason why I'm giving it to you is because you're the dude who's going to get it done. Right. And so that goes such a long way. Right. Especially if you can just say, like, hey, man, like, I'm about to ruin your day and I'm sorry. But you come in like everything's cool. Like, hey, man, here's a task, last minute, Friday, 4:55 p.m. You're supposed to be going home at 5. I'm going to give you a 4-hour task and you act like nothing. No big deal,
Yeah.
right, bro?
Yeah, I haven't worked with people like that, but I've seen it on enough TV shows to understand
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. But and I think it's also too giving somebody their kudos as as you know, more hard work is always rewarded with more hard work,
yeah.
right? Like I had a guy that I flat out will tell you, man, I used him to death. And I told him, I was like, I know that you're the guy who's going to get my high pressure stuff done, and I will make sure you're taken care of. I did take care of him, right?
Hmm.
But I also had to be like, tell him, like, hey, man, this is why you got this, because you're the dude.
Yeah. You're
Need
good
an
at this.
if you're an A, if I need an A plus today, I know who to go to. I'm trying to create other A pluses, but in the meantime, this is what it is. I think just being able to acknowledge that, and then the other part that most people don't talk about is then reward that.
Yeah. The reward part, when they first few times you do it, whatever, and there's no reward afterwards, that level of work ethic will go downhill. So,
For sure. Yeah,
yeah.
I think between giving people an attaboy, time off, whatever the thing calls for, and
Yeah.
but that again goes to you being a leader who knows and understands your people.
Yeah.
Like if I give you, like, if your value is money and I give you an award, right? That don't really matter to you.
No. But if you have to work overtime and I'm like, you know what? You can come in at lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever it is, right? And so being able to understand and leverage that within the confines of your reality, right? Like if you can't
Yeah.
get out reward bonuses, then don't go into your pocket. but but
Well, that's why I said, like, 'cause you work overtime, put the overtime slip in, but then you come in at 12 instead of 8 in the
yeah,
morning. Yeah,
something. Yeah, I just think that
yeah,
that matters so much. Um, these are out of order, but whatever. Unnecessarily large organizations are prone to take on non-essential tasks that dilute true purpose. And I mean,
same with units, right?
yeah, everything. Like you're it's the make the main thing the main thing,
Yeah,
right? Or keep the main thing the main thing. But it's so easy. Like, yo, we got 4 extra people. Give it to him, he'll do it. And it's like,
you missed the
oh.
goal there, you missed the plot right there.
Yeah. And I think it's easy as a leader to, again, like, you want to accomplish more. You want to, be efficient. You want all these words, right? Like, I feel like sometimes I haven't come up with a catchphrase for it, but I feel like I want to call it the TED Talk conundrum. I feel like people have watched so many TED Talks where they're like, you got to think outside the box and you got to do all these extras that they forget. Like, your job is the main thing.
Yeah,
It's not to be this unique, crafted snowflake who makes this, no, your job is to make widgets. We make 50 widgets a day, and people will get sidetracked on making widgets because they're like, well, we got a new thing. Right. And it's like, no, man, make the widgets. And if you can do the new thing, cool. Right. I'm not saying I'm all for widgets, and I'm all
yeah,
for the extras and the side quests and everything else. But I just feel like you can also just get so far away from it because it's kind of like a shiny object syndrome, right? Like,
yeah, when I'm hearing this just reminds me of our first conversation, subtraction.
yeah,
That's what this is basically,
100%.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
so
Make yourself invaluable, but not at the expense of your team. And it's back to train your future replacement. Right? There's a lot of people I've watched over the years who hoard knowledge, hoard information so they can feel like they're in the know, and they, "Oh, well, can't kick me out of the seat." And it's like,
You know what? Have you read the like? Because I read a lot of business books, right? Instead of these self help books, they would just say like fire yourself. Basically, is how they would
yeah,
word it all the time,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
same thing there. Uh, when you build your business, you want to get bigger. Hire your replacement, or you fire yourself from the position, right? You contract it out, or you bring somebody in.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I think the real goal, in my opinion, depending on, again, like, it's universal, so we're not going to speak like in a niche,
Hmm.
is to position yourself into the thing that you're good at, right? But when you're first leading something, you're kind of good at everything because you have to be.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to look back and take a step back, macro level, and go, okay, I am screwing paperwork up. I'm screwing this up, but I'm really good at this part right here. It could be representing the business, could be making sure that your training program is good, whatever. And so I think training your future replacement is just, and then from a military perspective, like, it's one of the ones where you know it and you hear it, but it's often kind of goes overlooked.
And this can be applied to your personal life as well. Like we talk about cooking all the time, how much we enjoy it, right? But if we don't clean the house, then maybe hire a clean lady once a month
Yeah,
to make sure it's like pristine and you can do the in between stuff, right?
it's
So,
some. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like, this is a thing where you identify the gap and you fill
mhm,
it, right? But you
yeah,
have to fill the gap by being able to be uh bird's eye view enough to say, okay, and honest enough to say, like, we don't do a good job of this.
yeah. And you know what? Some people also like when they first start out. I'm thinking when I was early on in my 20s, when I first started out, you move out, you get things going on, even like in going to university, even before that, moving out. When you get some money coming in, a lot of people get the nice car, the this and that, but you can actually like get the mediocre car, but the extra money you're spending, I'm not saying you're saving it and put in a savings account, but you can improve your life in manners that work best for you. For me, for a while, because I was working so much overtime, I went and I used a wash and fold service and a cleaning lady all the time because it let me have clean laundry, clean house, and I could work overtime as much as I wanted when I was younger. Right.
Yeah,
So you can optimize not just in business, but these things work everywhere.
I think so. Things the same. All right, let's see where we're at now. This one's it's more military specific, but I think it still applies. It's
Mhm.
train for the mission set, not the target set, until you have a target. And so for me, that just means the
So
basic.
can you say that one more time? You said it
Yeah,
very fast.
train for the mission set, not the target set, until you have a target.
Okay.
And so, in other words, you do the basics well, and then when you have a specific thing to niche down on, then you do that, right? So if you sell whatever, I don't know, you practice selling the big macro part of it until you
Hmm.
get one customer who, or your target customer. Your target customer is the 44-year-old businessman from Washington State. Now I want to know everything there is to know about him, what he does, what his business does, what he likes to drink, all the things, right?
Hmm.
And that's kind of where that comes from for me.
Okay.
Seek value added in your section, team, unit, office. And this is just the smallest. Make yourself useful. That's the best way. Make yourself useful in all the ways,
Yeah, how
right?
can you be a value add?
Yep. And that can be from the guy who stays late. Hey man, I stay late because I'm here anyways. I'll take any assignments that come late. Taking out the trash, organizing the office in the sense of like, hey, like I just said, like, John, you got a meeting. Hey, Timmy, you got, and maybe that's not your job, maybe it's not what you're hired for, but you just happen to remember and you're good at it.
Yeah, like I remember I joined a company, or I was thinking about joining a company for mortgages at one time, and they had an opportunity where you could just answer the phones. When you're starting out, answering the phones means that any company that comes in the phone is your client now. So I'm like, I'll work from the office. I'll answer the phones all day, get some clients under my belt without having to go to networking events and the scramble, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Know what everyone knows and how to leverage that knowledge.
yeah, know what they do, but you don't know have to know how they do it because, yeah, you have your own priorities and your own knowledge.
Yeah. Like one of the things I would do when I took over something is I would always go like, send me an email of what you do, how you're being utilized, how you're being underutilized, and where I can utilize you more. Right. And then you start paying attention to subtle skill sets that people have. And then, you know, and if you can pay attention to those skill sets, then you can figure out how to leverage people. And a lot of times you can leverage them in ways that they actually dig instead of them being like, here I am in this hellhole again, you know?
Yeah, coming from such structured work environments, this just makes sense to me. But a lot of my friends are entrepreneurs and just starting a business. They kind of just start and they're kind of scrambling the whole time because like they have to wear so many hats. They don't have this framework in mind, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
it's not really,
sure, yeah, it's like I don't think it's that wild is anything you're saying, but
no.
they don't have these frameworks.
Well, here's the other thing. This is what I tell guys all the time is like most of this stuff, in my personal opinion, is stuff that you know if you've done any of that kind of work.
Hmm.
I just happen to have the fortune of having a mentor say, go write this down. Right. Um, Now
Which you
here's
did
some,
at 30, not 28.
yeah, yeah. Humans over hardware. It's actually a soft axiom. It used to be a soft truth, is what they call it. Special Operations Forces truth. Humans over hardware, and I still believe that to this day. What are you doing to, and it's a blank. It says, what are you doing to improve? And the way it actually started was, what are you doing to make the boat go faster? If you can't make the boat go faster, then you got to get off. Right.
Hmm.
Bring the right attitude to the right problem set. And for me, this is math for me, right? Like I didn't realize for years that I actually wasn't bad at math. I just had a terrible attitude.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? So I I think it matters. I don't expect you to show up and be like happy joy joy, but you can't come in here being a pissy pants either. I just
Yeah.
can't, right? And I think that matters, man. It's like one of the things that I have always dug was when everything's going wrong and people can just kind of laugh about it or stay in the best side of it possible. Like, no shit, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, thanks. You're not telling me anything that's helpful or useful. And so that's one of
Yeah.
the
'Cause I'm just thinking right now because my bicep, right? I could have like been super pissy and whatever. And don't get me wrong, I got down on it at first because like atrophied so much. I was like, man, is this ever going to come back? But it's one of those things that in the moment is it's like, what else can you do?
that's it, man. That's it. I mean, I think there's far. I think it's one of the. Let me say it better. There's far better skill sets than being able to, or not a lot of skill sets that are better than being able to keep a good attitude during a bad time.
Yeah. And a good attitude will improve that bad time regardless, too, usually.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's see. Don't be smart. Solve problems. And this one, I'll die on this hill.
Can you expand on it though? Like, don't be
So
smart.
there's a
So
lot of
when I
people
hear
who,
it, okay, go.
yeah, there's a lot of people who just want to sound smart. They just want to say smart shit. They just want to
Hmm.
pontificate and everything
Yeah.
else. And then as they're pontificating, nothing is getting done or solved or improved.
Yeah. They don't
Right.
wanna do you think there's a part of that? Because we talked a little bit before we logged on about identity. Do you think there's a part of that, like, the problem is they're part of their identity in some of these circumstances?
I think I mean probably. I also think there's just this thing where people think because they're like going through the motions and sounding smart, they're gonna solve a problem. And they're not the same thing. Right.
Yeah, talking about it's not doing it,
You
so
know, well, even on this, like, you have a problem, you come up against a problem. And again, this is where my TED Talk theory kind of butts up against this, is like some people want to spend 17 hours trying to come up with the perfect plan to defeat this problem.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else who's like, here's an axe, get to cutting, problem solved. Right. And I think that you kind of have to meet in the middle somewhere. Like there's definitely a time and place for the whole, um, I would sharpen an axe for an hour or for 50 minutes and then take 10 minutes to cut down the tree, that thing.
Yeah.
Right. There's that. But then there's also just sometimes you just got to calloused hands and
Yeah. Take the
get
bazooka to it.
get to it. And there's also the idea too, where it's not just rough work. It's just sometimes it is what it is, man. Like you can pontificate and sound crazy and cool and everything else, but at the end of the day, it's just an answer we have to do. We have to provide an answer. And so that's one of the ones I've seen forever.
Mhm.
And you see it in people's personal lives too. You see how, like they can tell you to the cows come home, all the things. It's almost like the attachment styles when we talk.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that before, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, you can tell me attachment styles, you can tell me about narcissistic behavior, you can tell me all that. What are you gonna do to solve these problems?
Exactly. What action you gonna take?
Yeah. Um, Sometimes outside the box is the wrong place to be.
Yeah, sometimes the solution's right there.
And then the very last one's ruthless self-assessment.
The outside the box one just made me think of, you can't hate from outside the club, right? So, that'd be funny. If somebody doesn't get it, well, you can't hate from outside the club if the party's inside and that's where it's gonna be. It's not like you're gonna make a party in the parking lot, right? So,
Uh-huh. That's it. And so those are like the basic ones, and I go into a whole spiel about this whole thing and
mhm.
talk to folks, answer questions,
Is
run
there
through.
anyone that you wanna focus on and talk about and expand on a little bit more right now? That you like? That you're like, "Maybe this one would be a cool, dive into?"
Here's more. Here's what I'll do here. So typically, what I would do is like, right, if I got like, let's just say like I'm walking into a new thing, a new situation today,
Mhm.
and I work hand in hand, right, right hand man and me, we're in charge. I'm gonna look at him and go, hey man, like I need you to write down 5 tangible goals, and I'm gonna need you to write down 5 intangible goals you want to accomplish in said time limit, 24 months, 36 months, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And so we're gonna sit down and then we'll jockey over what's what. Hey, we can't do that. We can't do that. Yada yada yada. And then once we set that stage, we go, here's the 10 things we want done, tangible and intangible, right? Um, then we call in every single leader that we have, shift managers, would depending on how you know your setup. That's on you to figure out, right? Bring them all in and you sit them down and you say, hey, here's what we want to do. Here's how we're going to accomplish this. Here's the timeline it's going to take. Look this over. Tell me what your problems are. Tell me how you feel about this. Tell me what's going on. All right. And then I will note on any objection you have. And if we can't come to an agreement, but we still keep the point, I'll keep your objections. Right. If you don't come up with any objections, any points, any issues, that means you're agreeing. You're in agreement. This is the goal. This is the thing. This is the direction we're rowing.
Yeah, everything green right now. Yeah.
Yep. Because when we start rowing, you've now said that you're on board. So if you come to me with certain problems, I can't hear you. I can't.
Yeah.
Right now, if you had an objection and I still went ahead with point four and you had an objection for point four, I'm going to note it because maybe I fucked up. Maybe I really messed up. Right.
Yeah, we're all human, so it happens.
Maybe we really picked the wrong thing. And so, we'll take it. And it doesn't mean that because you agreed to it, I don't want to hear any problems. It just means that like there's a time and a place. And also when you agree to this, you've agreed to the fact that the culture is we stay inside. We won't be doing any of these disagreements or issues or problems in public.
Yeah.
We won't be doing any of them with subordinates. We won't be doing any of them with newbies, especially because you taint the
Mhm.
culture, you poison the culture, you poison the well. And so that's what it is, right? That's how we're going to approach it. So you come up, you say, "Hey, man, point four, we're going to screw this up in the second quarter because of this, and this that you guys didn't consider." And then we go back, we look at it. Everybody says, "No, no, we're going to keep point four," and then we annotate the objections, and as
Mhm.
things are going, then we listen to feedback and we draw and we keep trying to make things happen, right? Maybe we have to adjust quarter one, quarter two, whatever. Hey, point four kind of sucks. You were right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you basically you pivot, but the goal doesn't change overall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pivot unless you have to, and sometimes you have
Yeah,
to. Yeah,
100%.
and so, but the goal is to when you leave the room, everybody's understanding which way they're going.
Mhm.
We're getting there. The norms and how we behave as a thing, right?
Mhm.
Meaning, like, there are certain things I expect you to challenge me on. That's something else I'll talk about. Hey, I expect you to challenge me on this, and this. Right? Not saying you can't challenge me on anything else, but I do expect these things. I even expect these in public. Right? Certain ones, everything else is behind closed doors, so on and so forth. Because when we leave this office today, this is you signing the paperwork saying, "Yep, we're good."
Mhm.
Right? And then that's how I lead into all of these.
Got it.
Just
Makes
went,
sense.
yeah. And so,
So, though, how I said, like, you pivot the main goal, or sometimes the main goal is the goal for whatever task it is, and you pivot everything else because that's the target no matter what,
uh
right? But sometimes, like you said, you pivot the main goal. How do you approach that? I guess how you coach somebody, or how do you approach that, however you want to word it? Because for me, how I have done it is I have a even bigger goal than that goal, like the long term goal.
huh.
And I try to map these other goals are kind of like roadmaps or like waypoints along the way to the bigger goal. So I can pivot along the way as long as that bigger goal is pretty much still the same, right?
Yeah.
So,
3 things. 1, I wanna define my win, which is whatever that is. So that's your bigger goal. So if the win is X, that's always the main target, regardless of whatever the 5 tangibles and 5 intangibles are. And then the 5 tangibles and intangibles should all direct towards the big goal, the win, right? Alright, and then 2, I'm gonna, whether that's your boss, your boss's boss, your customers, you're gonna figure out what your actual priority is, right? And then where you can assume risk.
yeah,
And that gives you your borders. So now you're in a street, right? And here in this
yeah.
little you're in
Yeah,
this
it gives
little
you tracks. It gives you your border, your tracks, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
your borders. Now you perform your 5 and 5 within them borders, and then
Mhm.
you within the rules that we talked about earlier or the framework that we talked about earlier. And so that's how I move forward.
That's what this reminds me of is like, the bigger goal is like Simon Sinek's why, right? Because
Mm,
everything can pivot along the way, and the why is kinda still the same overall, right? A lot of
mhm.
times, so, yeah.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah, makes sense.
the underpinning is more the why or the culture,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Underpinning is culture/why. And
yeah.
then moving towards whatever the win is, and you define your win. Because one of the things, especially like when we are doing like a seminar or like whatever, is like I try and get people to define a win because I think some people define their wins too narrow. Meaning,
Mhm.
I have to
Can you
win.
give an example, like, of what is a narrow win in your eyes, just so I
I
get
have to
an idea?
sell. I have to. So we sell. Let's say we sell 5 things, right? I have to sell 5,000 of widget one. I have to,
Mhm.
even though the bigger goal is just to hit X number,
Yeah,
right? So is it hit X number or is it sell 5,000 of widget one?
yeah. Getting caught in the weeds over the target, yeah.
How to do it. I don't care about your how, I care about winning, right? So to make it a sports analogy, right? Like we're gonna go out here and we're gonna beat Golden State with all threes. Always shooting his threes today, right? We had no dunks, no layups, no nothing. No
Yeah,
post game.
unless you're Curry,
Yeah.
you can't really I'm sorry.
You know, and so, but that's how I usually define it, and
Yeah.
it became a thing honestly because of MMA. and I probably shouldn't say that because I don't know the guy like that, but there's a fighter, used to be a fighter. His name is George Gurgel. He's a
Okay.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Fantastic Jiu-Jitsu.
Mhm.
Every single fight, it seemed like this guy was going for a knockout, trying to get that
Mhm.
knockout bonus,
Yeah.
trying to get that knockout. And I got it. I
Yeah.
have any bonuses, but in going for that bonus, this dude probably could have been one of the top fighters in the world. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he couldn't. He didn't. You know. And so I always thought about that. You know.
That's interesting.
So I always think about that in terms of how you position yourself as far as winning is concerned. Do you have to win in a specific way, or is the win the actual thing? Do I
Yeah.
need, do I want 49-0 with just wins, or do I want to be 49, 40-9 because
Yeah.
I,
Does how you win matter as much? I think again, outside of the bigger character traits like your integrity, your morals, and all that stuff, if that's not being bent, let's say, too
Mhm.
much, uh, then does how you win matters as much as like the win itself.
Yeah, I to me it doesn't, and it's a thing of like kind of what we talked about a couple weeks ago with the four types of wins,
Yeah.
right? And maybe that's all goes back to how I think, right? There's four types of wins for me. Like, yeah, I can win, and maybe it's all all the externals are fucked up, man.
Yeah. It's empty.
Yeah, it's empty, and so for me, it's I want my internals to be and my externals to align in that sense,
Hmm.
right? And so I don't care how the win is, like you said, with all the things that are going said, because hopefully you're not a douchebag.
Yeah. I just thought we should bring it up because if we
No,
clip
no,
it,
it's
then
good.
like, yeah.
It is a really valid point,
Hmm.
and it's even a valid point because I'll talk about this real quick. This has nothing to do with it, but there's a throughput there. It
Okay.
is a valid point because I've had several incidents where, because of who I am and how I talk and interact, I won't see certain sides of people,
Mm.
right? And I
Yeah, we
had
all have blind sides, that's for sure. Yeah.
well, it's not even just a blind side, right? It's the fact that, like, well, and the reason why I'm saying that is because a blind side would be they're showing it and you just don't see it.
Hmm.
These are people who know when they're around you they can't act a certain way, so they don't.
Understood. Yep.
And so as soon as you're gone, they're out there doing whatever they do and they're wild, and people are like, "How do you associate with that person?" And you're like, "What are you?" And you're like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like,
Like that person is not like that in my presence.
"Yeah." And I'd be like, "I've never seen that." And then
Hmm.
and I had to have multiple people point that out to me because I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. I stopped talking to a friend and I've had so many text messages by different people telling me like we always liked you. We don't hate the guy either. It's just we always were shocked. Like we're always shocked and then they're telling me all these other things that I wasn't aware of because I'm busy in my own world as well. And they're not doing that around me ever. So it's very
Yeah, and,
interesting.
and
So
and
yeah.
that's exactly what it is, man. I've had it happen, and I didn't realize it. That, like, that's what a lot of people do, and because it's not how I interact or operate. And they were like, "Yeah, man, like when you're here, that person doesn't ever do this." Right. And I was thinking, and I now in a strictly leadership perspective, I kind of expect that, but in a broader, like, relationship, homies, friends, just whatever,
Yeah.
I just never considered it. And
Yeah, but you don't consider it just like I didn't consider it either because for the most part, we're always the same.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, in different environments. Because if I have to act differently in every environment, then I have to be a different person each time. And I'm like, why not just be in alignment a little bit more? So
yeah. Well, it's also one of those things where it's just like I don't have the bandwidth.
yeah, I was joking around saying I'm just too dumb for that. So
Yeah, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the bandwidth anymore. Like, I just, yeah, I don't have the bandwidth with multiple.
yeah, I just like I was I guess I'm just simple.
I get that, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
easier that way because you don't have to remember as much. and you have more free brain power for everything else that you're interested in.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But yeah, that's how I typically break it down when I go over the whole thing. You know,
All
there's
right.
there's some other things, but that's.
Anything you want to dive into?
I
Okay.
mean, I don't think so, man. I mean, more maybe if you have
I was gonna so because I created this whole trends thing for us, so that basically, I'll just so we can clip this part. So what I've been doing for fun is creating basically a back end dashboard for us. So all our transcripts get pulled into this and they get read, and then we now have trends that get cross referenced against Google, Reddit, YouTube, Google search terms, and everything to see if what we're talking about, there's other things that might be adjacent to what we're talking about. And there's one thing here, the title makes me think of, I think, something similar to what you said. Basically, the title is Discipline as an Installed System versus Motivation as a Fuel System. I think you said this or something similar,
mm, yeah,
right?
probably. Yeah.
So basically, what this did is it searched it up, and from how I worded everything is that people asking poorly articulated questions where they want it but can't name it. This is how it kind of popped up. So I thought this would be good because with everything you're talking about, all the rules, and I'm calling them rules because I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking of NCIS right now.
Uh-huh.
All Hansei's rules. How would you expand on the discipline as an installed system versus motivation as a fuel system in a business coaching setting?
Business coaching setting, discipline, motivation. Oh, okay. So for me, I think the first key to remember is if you're the leader slash manager owner, right? Is not everyone has your dream. Your dream is not everyone's dream. So this applies to motivation. So you have to eh, be the person who finds and provides and instills motivation in your team, right?
Mhm.
And I think that tracks back to knowing your people, knowing what they want to know, where they're going, where they want to go. Do they want to stay there? Is this an interim job? Do you do minimum wage? Like whatever it is, right? So that's that. And then I think the discipline part is just becomes habitual and cultural, right? As soon as you show up, as soon as you join the team, we indoctrinate you essentially,
Yeah.
right? And so discipline will always be the overall overarching operating system that is fueled by motivation. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it makes sense. I
So
thought
that's
also this kind of grows on what we're just talking about because how you said it, and we both experienced it. We have people or had people in our lives that act a certain way around us, but
uh-huh,
when we're not around, they don't act that way. So, like, if you're a leader and you always show up late,
uh-huh.
and then why wouldn't they think it's okay to show up late?
Of course. And but I think that goes back that's so that's the culture, habits, and discipline.
Yeah.
And so like I my our culture and our habits are that we show up on time.
Mhm.
And then the discipline there is just that is it becomes a discipline. I think culture and habits or habits specifically feed into discipline,
Yeah.
right? So, and I think that's just also comes to having a standard.
Exactly. Yeah.
Here's a standard.
Standards matter.
Yeah, here's a standard. Here's what we do. And I think, and I personally, I always try and talk like that, like we, us, our. And I think some people don't think it matters, but I think it does matter. Like, oh, we don't do that here. Like, you know, we don't do that here.
Yeah, we
Um,
don't do that here. Yeah.
I
That
had,
simple statement is big though, because some people won't ever make that statement. Like, was
yeah,
it just friendliness? We don't do that here, just so you know. Like,
yeah.
just so you're aware, we don't do that here. Yeah.
I had a guy. I had this little team in Fort Polk, Louisiana, and I had a guy. We would go work out every day at lunch, right? Me and all the guys, right? I say every day, it probably wasn't every day, but it was a lot, right? We
Yeah.
we train in the morning, we train in the afternoon. And we got a new guy. He shows
Hmm.
up. Um, I'm like, hey man, we're gonna go train. You wanna come? Nah, I'm good. I said, all right, cool. So I asked him every day for probably a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Hey man,
Yeah.
we're gonna go train. Nah, I'm cool. I said, all right, cool. All right. And then I think like the 10th day or some nonsense, I look at all the guys and I go, hey, nobody ask him shit. Just get up and go.
Mhm.
Just like we're just getting up and going.
Mhm.
Bet you 2 days later that dude was like, hey man, can I come to the gym with you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, it's just culture, habits, standards, how you interact, you know. And that was the thing is like come up to him later, like, hey man, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
We don't do that
This is
here.
how you bond. This is how you get to know each other. Like not just work. You're lifting weights together, doing something together. Yeah,
It's
that's
all of
doing hard stuff together, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, my thing and will forever be like if you want to make someone grow close fast is to suffer and then suffer together and eat together. Trauma bond.
But a positive spin, a positive spin.
Positive. Positive.
I always joke around saying that I like to connect my vices with positive things, right?
Yeah.
So I enjoy having an old fashioned, but I don't drink when I'm upset. I just don't.
Mm,
I won't like I
strong move.
whatever your yeah, whatever your vice is, like if you even gamble, whatever it is, and you want and you have the money for gambling, you have them all these things, you want to smoke weed, you want to do whatever. I just made a rule early on when I saw everything I saw at work. I'm like, if I'm in a bad mood or I'm not in a good spot, I am not going to engage in any of my vices. That's it.
Strong move.
Yeah, very simple approach. But the thing is that now all my memories with my vices, and they're not vices, like I don't go drink every day. They're all in my memories, they're all laughter and happiness. That's all there is associated
That's
with them,
strong. That's strong.
right?
I like that.
Yeah,
It's
very simple.
I was thinking the other day about what if my vices could be the most healthy thing that I do? And
I think
what
it's
I
what you
mean
associated with. Yeah.
well, yeah, but that's what I mean is like
Yeah.
instead of me spiraling, why isn't my vice 3 minutes of breathing and quiet? Why isn't my vice to go for a walk? Right?
Mhm.
Why isn't my vice to get into my journal? Why isn't my vice to call and say, yo, I need to talk? Right? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I do gotta get better at that as well. I think we all do because of the roles we played, right? So,
for sure.
uh, yeah, because like even like I said to you, like I was just trying to apply for a credit transfer, and I'm looking for outlines, and I found my course outline online. I'm like, I submitted it, perfect. But because I found it online, I didn't get it. Like I'm like second guessing everything, right? Because of the standards. So uh, it's just interesting. Why would I? I'm not talking about this circumstance, but in a lot of things, like why would you put yourself in circumstances that get you to the point that you need a journal sometimes as well, right?
Well, I mean,
'Cause I'm thinking about somebody else now, 'cause I'm like, now
well, I think your ability to discern what is yours and what isn't
mhm.
is very hard for some people.
And, we learn from our mistakes, so I think sometimes you gotta be present in the mistake, because sometimes a mistake happens and you're not really present in it. You're just like you blame it afterwards, right? But if you make that choice in the moment and then afterwards, like, "Why did I make that choice?" And now you're aware of it, the next time it comes, it can be like a positive feedback because like, "Oh, if this happens, then I'm not doing that."
Mm.
Right? So
I think it's also this just in general, man, like the idea of like I think being ruthless, having there goes ruthless self-assessment on who
yeah.
you are and what you are and trying to have a macro view of like, hey man, this is what's actually going down.
Mhm.
Because I think some people are so caught up in like your inner narrative of like, I'm a good guy, I'm a good person, I'm this, I'm that. And so as you say, they're not present in the mistake as it's happening or the
Yeah.
mistake that they're calling a mistake, the choice.
Yeah.
The choice. This
That's
is a
actually a
mistake.
better no, that's actually a better way to put it because it's just a choice, right? The mistake is the connotation we give it, right? So it's just a choice, and like, why are you making a choice that you find hard to live with at times, right? That's
Yeah.
a good conversation to have right there.
But I also think people just, and this goes back to the identity thing is like people will always act in accordance with their identity,
Mhm.
no matter what. Your identity says X, you will, even though this is not good for you and not good for the goal that you have and not good for the thing that you have, but you will be like, I'll choose that one.
Yeah. And that's also comes down to like the change your environment, change your geography, change your friends. And because like if your friends are okay with a certain behavior, then sometimes you're like, I gotta act a certain way to be part of my in group, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've experienced that.
I know that's why I was thinking about you and me and everybody, like all the stories we've told each other. So I was thinking about all that. So
Like that's one of those ones where I definitely know that one to be true. And it's one of the ones too I think is a universal reality, right? Of like um everyone wants to say they can do it without, oh, I'm different. I'm different. I can dance through raindrops. It's like, no, man. No. No. You hang out with five losers, you're a fucking loser. And I hate to say
yeah,
it that way, but it's a actually I don't hate to say it that way. It's just reality.
yeah,
It just is. No matter what people want to tell you, it's like, buddy,
yeah. You're the average of who you're around.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
the average of your environment. And I think it's really cool that like the one thing that changes in modern times is that you get to be exposed through the internet to people that might hold themselves to a higher standard of, even if they're not around you. Because you can watch a podcast, you can read a book, you listen to an audiobook, all these things, and you become the sum of like that becomes part of the equation of what the average you are now,
Oh,
right? You're
100%.
still
Yeah.
right. Your foot still is in reality, and you still have to deal with the people around you, and you still have to live there. But all these ideas, once they infiltrate your psyche, it's like a virus. You can't stop. You can't be unaware now, right?
Yeah, I think especially if you're looking for it, right? I think if you're a certain type of person, you can try and shrug it off.
Hmm.
But for the most part, like you said, I mean, listen, if you spend like Rogan's podcast is 3 hours.
Yeah.
If you spend 3 hours a day or 3 hours every third day with somebody, that's probably more time than you spend talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so it's no wonder when you're influenced by it.
Yeah. Uh, again, because we're talking in here long form, and if I live closer to you, I'm sure we'd have a lot of long conversations as well. I think a, a lot of people just don't. They're not curious about the inner workings of their friends' minds at times. So
I don't think they're curious about their own inner working of their own mind. I mean, serious. Like
no, you
I've
put it
had
in a good
so many
term. Yeah.
people tell me it's not that deep. This was something I had to settle on because I had so many people tell me. I was like, maybe I'm the problem.
So
Maybe
okay, can you give
well,
me a circumstance? Because I've heard that saying a lot, and I agree that things are deep. But I also think like, I also really like the Charlie Chaplin quote where, when you zoom in, everything's like a drama and serious or whatever, but when you zoom out, everything's a comedy.
I
I
I so in context, I mean, you know me, so like,
oh, yeah.
yeah, this is just who I am. Like, I am the person who will watch something that is lighthearted,
Mhm,
and I will find a thing in it just because I
mhm,
can't help it, right? However, I do also see the comedy in a lot of things.
yeah.
I've said before, I think sometimes my humor's broken because I don't, I don't have the same humor
My
as
humor's
some people.
broken. Yeah,
Like, dude, like sometimes people laugh at stuff and I'm just like,
yeah,
and then there's other things where I'm like rolling on the floor and I'm like, oh, you don't get it, you know? And it's not, I don't want to say it's like because I'm so smart or some bullshit like that. It's
yeah,
just that, like, I, but for me, a lot of things they're just profound or I'm looking for the profound in them. It's one of the reasons why I dig music so much, right? Like I
yeah.
listen to music and I'm hearing these lyrics and this guy's singing this song and I'm like, it's one of the reasons why for me there's
What happened?
I got to get a new battery. Hold on.
Alright.
Good thing for Magic episode.
100%, yeah. Clip it right out. You gotta get that, Amazon card with that false battery for yourself.
Yeah, I also just need to plug it up at when I do these. I can plug it up instead of just having it on battery.
Oh, okay, yeah, I have one of those false batteries in mine, so
Yeah. Um,
But we were talking about I said Charlie Chaplin,
the
and
whole
you
deep
said yeah, because like I'm asking because like I hear people say that everything's deep, and then I'm like thinking about just some of the situations I've been at work. I'm like, I I would love to agree with it. I think it's circumstantial for me anyway. That's why I said like been in very serious situations and like and then we're just laughing because like we don't like what is life when we're doing some of the shit we're doing, right?
well,
So
I mean,
yeah.
what I will say about, like, I've never been a cop before, but, like,
But I think
and
the same with army, right? Like
yeah,
in
yeah,
certain
but I think
situations.
certain things that, like, you have to have an absurdist laugh at kind of view or else it'll drive you crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's, you know, I think it can be same though. I think something can be deep and hilarious at the same time. Like
Yeah.
there's a real reality to like how some things are two-sided, man. Like one of the things here, I don't talk too much about this shit because work is work, but like one
Then
of the
clip it
thi-
out.
one of the no, we can say this one of the things that I constantly say is I thought we were better than this. It is that deep and it's that funny.
Yeah, yeah, it's very funny. That is a
I constantly
that
am going like, holy shit. Yeah, and I think about that scene from Armageddon. He's like, "Ain't there just a room full of dudes just sitting around thinking shit up?" That's how I feel. That's how I feel about work all the time. I'm just like, well, so
is funny.
I get it. But yeah, for me, that was when and it's very few things. I want to say took it personal, but there's very few things that like people say that make me like pause, and I kept getting that one, and I kept being like, maybe something wrong. Maybe it's me. Maybe like
Yeah.
and finally I just landed on it. I was like, no, it is that deep. And I'm good with that. I'm good with it. Because this is the other thing too. I have yet to meet somebody who doesn't have a deep thought whose life I admired or wanted.
Say that one more time?
So I've never met somebody who doesn't have deep thoughts, right?
Mhm.
So they we'll call it shallow. I don't mean it like that. I just do the opposite of deep. Um, a shallow existence that I'm like, "Whew, you got a lot of cool shit going on, bro. You make me want to be just like you or like involve
Yeah.
more of that into my life. If I could get more of that shallow stuff, my life would be so much better."
Yeah, I get what you mean. No, I
You know
get
what I
it.
mean? And
Yeah.
so, and don't get me wrong, like, I still think that there's room for lighthearted.
Yeah.
In fact, that was a conversation I had recently with a fellow friend of mine who suffers from PTSD, just like I do and you do. His therapist was like, what's your diet? And she's like, I ain't talking about what you eat, like what do you
Mhm.
consume? And he's
Yeah.
like, well, I've been watching all this stuff at night. And she was like, oh. And so we
Mhm.
were talking, and I was telling him one of the things that I've done deliberately is I've tried to introduce way more comedy and laughter and thoughtless, mindless things
Yeah.
into my
I've
existence.
introduced a lot more art into my life,
Yeah,
so that's why
art
I'm
as
into
well, yeah,
yeah.
but things of beauty and
Yeah.
things of beauty, things that are funny, things that are make fun of the absurdity of life,
Mhm.
right? I try to introduce a lot more of that, just
Oh,
because.
and I'll gonna share something funny. So
Yeah,
my PTSD has been acting up like crazy because I with the arm, I just until recently haven't got my sleep back. I was like 3 hours a night for like 2 months. My garage door randomly just was opening, okay? And it was driving me nuts because now I'm like, I'm gonna wake up and everything in my house is gonna be stolen. So I was waking in the middle of the night thinking that. And the PTSD is real, but the reason why it was happening is my battery was low on my garage door opener. So that little thing caused me like 3 weeks of like, what the hell's going on in my life right now?
yeah,
So it's just funny how what like triggers it because it's like a small maintenance thing that you have to do in life. And in the moment, I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, it's otherwise I know this shit happens, but yeah,
yeah.
listen.
I mean, I think that that's what him and I were talking about was just kind of like the strategies on like how to make a better life as you
Oh, yeah.
deal with PTSD and all the things. And I was telling him all the things I do, and he was like, "Man, I often forget," and I was like, listen, there's a reason why I have "Monks Don't Retire" tattooed on me,
Yep.
and I
And I
try.
have the cure for the pain is in the pain.
Yeah, yeah. I've had that written down somewhere. Um, but for me, it's the same thing as physical therapy, right? I think we all have been in that position where you physical therapy is the answer, and
Mhm.
you're going and you start feeling better, and the first thing you do when you start feeling better, stop doing this physical therapy, right? And I think when you have PTSD or whatever the thing is, that's what. As soon as you get into the swing of like, oh shit, my life's pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
feeling good, and then you go, I don't need this meditation right now. I'll skip it
Yeah,
today.
the things you're doing is like antibiotics. You do the full run of antibiotics.
Yeah.
Like, you don't stop when you're feeling good. You keep on doing it. So,
Yeah. Well, I think
yeah.
it's forever though, right? I think if
Yeah.
you have PTSD, I don't think there's an end. I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
I think you just, I think the intensity and the dosage and the whatever like changes, right? Like
Yeah.
there's weeks I go without like a little meditation, like formal meditation.
But
Weeks.
isn't it nice when you look back, you're like, "At one point, I needed this to 3 times a day."
Yeah, yeah. And then there's
So
other times where
that's a
I'm
lot
like,
of growth there, so
yeah, and there's other times where I'm like, we should probably do this today.
yeah.
You know, we should probably get this in today. And sometimes it's a 3 minute little 1 minute little deal, 3 minute little deal, you know. But I also know which ones are non-negotiables. I also know which ones I like are absolutely like, this isn't a nice to have, man. This is a we gotta do it. This is water, you
Yeah,
know.
that's good. I like that. I like that saying, "It's water." Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your non-negotiables then?
Movement,
Mhm.
writing, silence, um, rest.
Silence, that's good.
Yeah, rest and family, family.
Mhm.
I think there is a very real thing to I did a deployment once, one of my very first deployments where I hadn't hugged somebody. I didn't know it. I hadn't
Mm,
hugged somebody and I got home and I hugged somebody and it felt like magic.
got it, that's interesting.
Yeah. And so I think, loving on your loved ones, whether it's intimate or platonic, hugging your homies, all that stuff, all that shit matters. And I think that if you're not in that picture, right? If you don't have those legs to the table, the five-legged table,
Mhm.
that you it's easy to
When you went on that first deployment, I'm guessing that wasn't the culture at your work?
it
Because a
wasn't
lot
the
of people I know in the
culture.
army and policing, like,
I
pretty
think
open now.
it was 2002,
That's what
2001.
I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, like, I don't think we thought about it, to be honest with you. It wasn't like I don't remember having, like, any of these conversations, like, on movies where, like, "Yeah, don't touch me, bro." No, it wasn't anything like that. It was just like, "Hey, we doing stuff, we keeping it moving," right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I remember because I also remember 2 other things that kinda happened that I've never really given credence to until I'm kinda talking about it right now, and that was, 1, we had 2 guys die, I think, the first trip, and,
Mhm.
uh, first names. I didn't know
Oh,
that,
yeah, because in policing too, we don't know only know last names. So
and
true.
that really did threw me for a loop, right? It really threw I can't talk about for anybody else, it threw me for a big time loop. Like, I was like, "Yo."
No, this is it's putting a memory in my head because because my nickname is Boo.
Mhm,
Everybody they called me, like, even the dispatch would call me Officer Boo.
mhm,
So from me receiving it, everybody said my first name or my
mhm.
nickname, right? But the other way around, something did happen where I'm like, I don't know this person's first name. And I'm like, I've broken bread with you, I've had a drink with you, I've hung out, and I just don't know your first name. That's very interesting.
Yeah, man, and so that one and, kinda the idea of overall, like, hugs and telling your buddy, "I love you." Like, I remember getting home from my first deployment, and maybe it was going into my second, and hugging my homies and being like, "Love you, bro," and, like, that not being a thing that ever happened before, and so, you know, it was just a very different experience, like, I remember starkly getting off that plane, and I don't
Mhm.
remember if it was a woman I think it was the hug lady, At there, she's
Hug lady.
yeah. There's a lady who she's actually passed away now. She used to be at I think BWI. I don't remember, but I think she's at BWI. And when soldiers got off the plane, she'd hug you. She like hug everybody.
Really?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Whole.
Oh, wow.
I want to say it was her, but I don't think it was. But regardless, I
Mhm.
don't.
Yeah,
It wasn't a family member.
yeah.
My
Regardless, if even if it's her in your mind, that's a good memory still, right? So,
yeah, but I remember like hugging my family about we had to go stand in formation because this is 2002, so you're doing the whole parade type nonsense, and
yeah.
yeah, man, and I just remember being like, but I remember getting that hug and being like, yo, like this is magic. Who knew? Who
This is
could
why
get?
the military do shotgun weddings.
Well, well, I'm saying, especially because like as a kid who didn't grow up like so many people. Right.
Yeah,
A lot of family member not family, but friends and probably and family members too who didn't grow up in loving environments and homes and stuff like that, and so for them, it was like, it's normal, and I
yeah.
was, "Yo." And so now, like, when I think about resilience or PTSD
Mhm,
anecdotes, it comes in the form of still mind,
mhm.
right? It comes in the form of, a body that has been worked, whether that's it's not asking you to be a bodybuilder or a power lifter, but, like, go for a fucking walk, go for a hard one along,
Yeah.
right?
I did it today 3 hours, so one it was fun
Yeah,
one, so, yeah.
something. And then it also looks like not giving yourself the excuse to be in pain, right? And by in pain, I mean, like, I'm going to take care of all the things up front that I know are problems, right? Because there's enough problems that are still there,
100%.
right?
And you again, for me, it had to be like I had to have a big mindset shift because this journey of trying to get like, I'm like, "Let me fix this pain properly, not just have temporary relief." It's been 3 years, like 3, 4 years of constant, like, slow trend, because build everything up from scratch again, but it is worth the effort, so.
Yeah, I think it's more than worth the effort. It's also just the reality of like life can still be really rad.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but for so long, I didn't believe that. I did not believe that. And I think, like, I've talked about it before, and I can't always remember them, but it's the three truths of pain, right? Because that's what it is. Like, PTSD is a cosmic pain. It ain't, there's no boo boo in
That's
my,
a good
you
no,
know,
that's a good cosmic pain, I like
yeah,
that, that's
it
really
is.
good.
It's cosmic pain. You can't point to it. You can't,
Mhm.
it's why it's so controversial for some people. They were like, how'd you get it? Or, well, you didn't get it because you did whatever. And it's like,
Yeah,
well, regardless, like, here's the thing. And the only thing pain teaches you is it's going to get worse. I can't take this and this will never end. Those are the three truths of pain. And so whenever whether you have cosmic pain because you have PTSD or whether you're in a physical pain, that's what your brain is screaming at you. And so you have to challenge that and figure that out. And then for PTSD, like I'm telling guys, is like, I have to take away all the levers I can take away because there's some levers I can't touch. I just can't touch certain levers, right? Like some
yeah,
environment levers I can never touch, depending on
mhm.
how you and your PTSD work or whatever the situation is. You're never going to be able to control a crowd. Good luck.
100%. No, it's one of those things that, like, even even this far down it where, like, I don't have to do the things I had to do in the beginning, I'm still learning some levers, right? Because if you don't get exposed to, you don't know what that lever is
Yeah,
like, "Oh, that's
100%.
a no-fly zone for now." Maybe it's forever, we don't know, but now I'm aware of it, right? So,
Yeah. What's even the thing that like, um, uh, what is it? Make the body savage so it tames the mind, right? It's that quote. It's just, and I think if you just do these things, that's part of it. And saying do these things sounds easy, and it's not what I'm fucking saying. But also, easy's never been a thing that had dissuaded most of the people who came from the career fields we came from. So I just it's not easy. Oh yeah, I know. Here, back to the leadership framework. Acknowledge difficulty.
Yeah,
This is hard. Now you know what hard feels like. Go do hard things.
yeah. You
You
can
know?
apply this leadership stuff to yourself as well. So that's the thing.
Well, I mean, the first person you lead is you.
Yeah, 100%.
The first person you lead is you.
I guess, like, you know what? I didn't even think you had to say that, but you have to say that too, right? First person you
Mhm.
lead is you.
Yeah. It's, like, one of the things I talk about, I joke about it, when I kinda am giving this process and this framework out, but I say, "The internet is full of solutions, and they all work. The science is compliance." And if you don't believe me, you can go on the internet right now and find a recipe to get six-pack abs and a way to save money. Yet 2 things that you're hard to find in the world is somebody with money and somebody with six-pack abs. 2 of the hardest things in the world to find.
Mhm.
So, it's like,
Well,
you know,
it's compliance. You're right.
yeah, the science, it's always is like, like, guys will be like, "Oh, man," like, when we talk about working out, they're like, "What's the best workout?" "The one you'll fucking do."
I was just thinking about this. Like, some people, like, uh, they do one type of workout, they get really good at it, and then they like that person's doing it wrong. That I'm like, have you worked out in any other way as well? Like, if they're still at the gym, they're still doing something. They might be doing a different workout than you, but like
It's one of the things where, like, I kinda have a hard time, like, making fun of, like, High Rocks or CrossFit, because my thing is, like, if
the name is funny.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, the name. Very
We can joke around about that,
yeah.
but not
Yeah,
the what they're doing
yeah.
is cool because it's hard work. Yeah.
Well, my thing is just, like, you a lot of the people who make fun of these things are also the same people who are like, "We need more tough men. We need more blah, 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 blah." And then I'm like, "Okay, well, now y'all got guys out here, they're moving, they're doing something, they have barbells in their hands, and it's still not good enough?
Yeah.
Kick rocks, homie. Kick rocks." At
I
some
think
point
so.
yeah.
Sorry, this made me think of something. So I've said this to a few. I don't think I said this to you. Um, you know how they say that guys aren't in touch with their emotions or whatever. I think outside looking in, when a person is aware of their emotions and in control of their emotions, it looks the same to other people from outside looking as suppression of their emotions.
Um, I think yes and no, right?
Well, with no conversation, I'm saying it looks the same, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
people
yeah.
emulate this by suppressing without knowing that there's a lot of other things behind that face and mind and everything.
I'm a firm I think there's a lot of dudes who experience a lot of emotions more
Mhm,
than we give credit for. But I also
100%.
think there's a lot of men who are out here who are just straight up out of touch, not suppressing or more than suppressing their emotions, right? Because there's still guys out here who are like, "Oh, you crying, bro? You crying, bro? You cry? What you doing crying, bro?" Like, I can't understand for the life of me.
Yeah.
Like, because even when before, like, I basically went like 2 decades without crying,
Yeah,
right?
same.
And so, but even as I was doing that, I never had the thing where I was like, oh, I just never had that in me.
No.
But so when I see it or hear it, I'm just like, oh, okay, right. And so I'm always just kind of fascinated, because to me it's like a Betamax. Like, what do you still exist? Like, this is like you're version one, right? Like, you're a version 1, bro, like, get over it. Like,
Yep.
now, don't get me wrong, like, if, I don't know, a squirrel runs out on the road and gets hit, like, you cry, I'm gonna be like, we got other things to do, guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, like, if you lose something really important to you, your loved one, your wife, your fucking job, your dog, like, you don't need to what are you doing? Yeah, you probably should cry, you psycho, like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm trying to say, like,
Yeah.
if those hard situations Like, if you have a friend or people see you, they don't see you when you're at the funeral or when you're in touch with your emotions. I'm saying
Yeah.
when you're out in public, something might happen in front of you and you react and you're present in the moment. You solve the problem. You don't show the emotion in the moment because you're dealing with what we have to deal with. Doesn't mean you're not in touch with your emotions. Doesn't mean it means you might have good control of your emotions because, like we also say, do the thing sad, do the thing upset
Yeah.
because the thing has
Well,
to get done. But outside looking in, a lot of people will see that because just like you said one time before, you've had people reach out to you like, "Is this something a man will say, or is this something that a whatever?"
yeah.
But they're interacting with you. They don't see the other side
Yeah.
until the
Well, I think
conversation happens.
for me, it's hard because I just assume like I don't want to say everybody's in touch, but like I
No,
assume
no, no.
like it's 2026 and like you figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then I also I don't know, I think there's such a fine line. I don't necessarily know how to talk about it. Like, so like I have a couple friends who've lost their fathers, right? I have not lost my father. And one of the things that we talked about is the gift and the curse of being able to be the strong person at the funeral, right? And and I was told like I said, we're talking about this and I'm thinking about like there still has to be time for you to get through that and figure that and feel that and figure that out. But also to have enough emotional regulation where the other people in your family have something to rely on. And
Yeah.
people can say, "Oh, that's wrong." It's like, but I don't think it is. I think that higher callings require higher sacrifice.
Hmm.
And I think to be called to be the stone or the rock for people in hard times, not even if it's just your father or whatever it is a higher calling. And now that doesn't mean that you don't go sort your shit out when you're alone or when you're with your trusted person or advisor or friends or family or loved one.
Yeah.
But it is a thing where it's just like you kind of gotta, hey man, we're gonna stuff this down for the next 2 hours and play this part, man. Like when I spoke at my buddy Juan's funeral and I was like, yo, how am I gonna get through this? But I did.
Yeah.
Then later on, I was unhinged. I let myself be unhinged for fucking
Yeah.
a good whatever it was.
Yeah. Let yourself feel the emotions so you can get through it, right? Otherwise, you drag it out.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other thing too. I told you, man. Like I always think about Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Like I don't know if you've seen that movie, but like when he
Yeah, that's a great movie.
in the sweatpants for the next month, I think about that all the time. I'm like, dude, just let yourself go through it, so you don't have to do a month in sweatpants and eating cereal.
Yeah, so that's one of those things with the PTSD, because you're learning all these tools to not get triggered or get out of it faster at times. Sometimes those tools keep you in it as well because you don't let yourself actually fully feel whatever emotion it is because you think it's going to result in that old trigger of how it used to affect you, right? So sometimes the tools also because it's like taking a Tylenol before the injury.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? So at different phases throughout that journey, at one point, like, okay, take the Tylenol because you know it's coming up because the pain's coming no matter what. In the future, it's like now it's blunting the pain so you don't actually feel the emotion in the time that you need to feel it,
yeah,
so you can work through it. So I
yeah,
think there's something to be said about same tools, but like realize the application might be like instead of a 10, it might be a 2 now, right?
yeah. I mean, again, like I think everything is like intensity type, time type
Mhm.
situation. Like sometimes I need a lot of meditation. Other days I need a little bit. Some days I need 10-minute walks. Some days I need to leave me alone. I'm going on a fucking journey.
Yep.
What I mean, like it just happens, man. And I think being able to pay attention to yourself
Mhm.
and know those things, right? I was really proud of myself this weekend, man. Now I'm not going to say this PTSD, but like, um, I had a conversation.
Everything's not PTSD for sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I had somebody come up and talk to me about a really hard conversation, right? And I realized immediately this is a one-way conversation. Even though I wanted to argue, I wanted to say a bunch of things back, I wanted to whatever. I was like, this is a one-way conversation. This is the best time to have it. And so, dude, bro, I took a deep breath and I just took it. And I was just like, and they were finished. And I was like, okay, I understand. And that was it. And I was like, just
What was the conversation about, you or somebody else?
yeah, it was just a really rough conversation. I'm not gonna get into it, but
Got it. No, 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 just
it
trying
was
to
just one of those
I
ones
first
where
like it. Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one of those ones where like as it's happening and this person's like, and I wanted to argue, I wanted to fight, I wanted to like the whole nine, and then I was just like, yo, this is pointless. The whole the argument, the fight, then this will be a pointless endeavor.
Mhm.
I was like, and you say you've learned. That's all I could think. I was like, you say you've learned. Here's a chance, bud. Here's a chance. And so I was just like, and I could feel myself getting hot for a second. I did the breath. I was like, let it all out. And then I was just
Yeah.
like, we're good here. We're good here. You know? And so I was really stoked, but it was one of those things again, like, you know, did you learn the lesson? Did you learn the lesson? Or are you gonna succumb to this again? You know? And I'm gonna fail. Like, let's be real. I'm gonna fail this again. But on Sunday,
Yeah.
oh, boy, was a champ.
Leg. That is great. That's hilarious.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, so again, like with all the PTSD talk and all
yeah.
yeah, I think like what we're really saying too, a couple things is we're talking about the story you tell yourself,
Mhm.
how you manage that story, right? And then um again, like tying it back to the leadership framework, having a ruthless self-assessment,
Yeah.
right? And I think the ruthless part matters, right? Because people will they'll assess themselves and they'll and they'll be like, I'm great, or they'll be, I'm terrible. And they have nothing about this makes any sense. It's not fucking helpful, you know?
No.
And it's like, oh no, let me ruthlessly self-assess myself. Like what kind of person am I? How do I handle these situations? Where are my weak points? Where are my strong points? What am I sensitive about?
Yeah.
Right? Like what are the things that actually like rub me raw? And why do they rub me raw?
Yep.
Right? And I think a lot of folks don't take any time, and it's not like I did it on purpose. I just happened to be in a journal,
Yeah.
and I wasn't even this is when this wasn't me using prompts. This was me just being like, "Little Johnny made me mad," and then I'll be like, "How the fuck did this guy get
But,
me?"
but if you from what you're saying, if you think about it, like, a lot of people become experts at their significant other, their kids, the best friend, their parents, but they never really had a conversation with themselves.
Hmm,
Yeah.
no,
It
I
has
think
nothing to do with PTSD at this point. It's just like, in general,
yeah,
you know how you react to other people very well, but you
yeah,
don't understand your own reactions.
and people will immediately point.
Yeah.
They'll point and be like, "This is a you problem," and like, "No, bud, this is a you problem." Like, this is a you problem.
Yeah.
This is a you don't like those kind of people, or this is a you can't control that person, and so they, you know, whatever. It's like,
That's when you tell 'em,
or
"When you pointed at me, 3 fingers are pointing back at
yeah,
yourself."
well,
Like you're
like,
talking to a
even
five-year-old.
knowing yourself enough to know, like, I don't like open loops.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that actually this whole week about closing some loops, so yeah.
I don't like open loops, and so I'm the kind of person where, like, if we have a friendship or a relationship or whatever it
Mhm.
is, and you leave me with an open loop, be prepared for obsession.
I think that's most people, no? I think so.
Some people are good at it, man. Some people are good at,
Really?
"Oh, I don't care," and walk away, or at least pretending. I
Yeah.
can't even pretend. I can't straight I'm gonna be like, "Yo, what'd you say?" And I'm gonna be like 5 minutes later, "Hey, you said something."
Yeah.
I don't even pretend, you know? And so, but I think knowing yourself well enough to know, like, "Hey, these are things for me." These are big deals. These are non-negotiables. Here's some things that I value, I don't value. I would rather you hurt my feelings than lie to me, like whatever the thing
Yeah.
is, right? There's some people who are completely okay with you lying to them because that's where
Yep.
their value system is. They're like, listen, I would rather you tell me this lie than get my poor little heart hurt, you know? So
Yeah, I know a few people like that.
that's just how I see it. That's how I talk about it. I think the story you tell yourself, though, in a broader sense now, is probably one of the most important things you can do and be a part of on a daily basis.
Mhm.
How you handle your story. Am I a fuck up, or is this a work in progress?
Until death, it's basically a work in progress if you want it to be.
Well, I mean, sure, but I mean, you know how many people have already written their story? They already know,
Oh, yeah.
and they're going
That's
to,
the identity thing again, right? So,
yeah, and they're going to continue on. Well, they'll make it true, right?
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, they'll make it true because this is how it is. I know this because it's like, yeah, well, you worked yourself into the point. You
Paint
literally
yourself in
made
the
this true.
corner.
Yeah, right? Instead of doing the opposite of like, let me control this story. Let me control my actions in this story. Let me control the practice that leads to a better story, right?
Yeah, they need a Morgan Freeman in their head.
I mean, listen.
Just to narrate a little bit.
Well, it's funny. Like I've been talking about the whole alter ego
Yeah.
thing, or just like creating characters or naming the characters in your life,
Mhm.
right? And it sounds like some woo woo shit, but it's like,
I don't
if
think it sounds that woo-woo. I think it's like it's be something you could say to your kid. It makes sense at all levels.
I think so, but there are just a
Yeah.
lot of people who when you start saying things like this, it sounds like cartoons to them. This is kid stuff. This isn't how adults act or whatever it is. And again, my thing is like, if I want to win, what am I willing to do to win? Am I willing to name, like for me, the critical part of me, I call the judge,
Mhm.
right? Because when something goes wrong, the judge shows up. Never
Yep.
fails. Never fails to not show up. He's a gavel
There
in
you go.
hand. He's like, yo,
Yeah. Is he white or black?
he is like the and one man.
Oh,
He's gray.
really?
He's gray with no.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just made
That's
that up
a
right now, but I'm going with. All the all the characters are gray with no face. So funny story. My tattoo on my back is of a album cover that I cannot remember the name of, but I just thought the
oh.
artwork was so dope. It was just a guy
Mhm.
who's like pushing everybody down, trying to get to the top.
Mhm.
Um, and I had the tattoo artist change it to a faceless, nameless, and one.
Like a mannequin face kinda thing, yeah. Yeah, interesting. In my when you're saying this, I was thinking Boondock Saints, and I'm
Um,
like, so that's what I was thinking, like, characters from that for some reason in my head because, uh okay. You like that?
um, I've
Or
been.
no, sorry, the Boondock Saints, but also the Boondocks, the cartoon too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I meant.
I knew
Boondocks, yeah,
exactly
that's
what
what I
you.
meant.
I knew
Yeah,
exactly what you mean. I was there
yeah.
when you. So when you said that,
The white guys in it, the white guys that, Samuel L. Jackson and the other white guy did the voice for?
yeah,
That's who I was thinking as a judge for some reason. Yeah.
I
Okay.
I've been wanting to do a shirt that was either like Peanuts inspired,
Mm,
Boondocks inspired, but I kept forgetting the name.
well, there you go. Perfect.
Aaron
Well,
McGrew.
what's the idea?
I don't really know yet. I just know I wanted to do it because I like the artwork, right? I like to pick characters, and so I want to put little characters on the shirt. With I
Do
have.
you know Samurai Champloo?
Mm-mm.
Write that down too. You'll like the artwork, and you'll like the clips that people do of it because like the beats in that anime is all hip hop.
Nice. Yeah, I got a bunch. I just bought a Ninja Scroll. I think it's like an older one.
I've heard of it. I don't think I watched it.
I watched this one guy review animes, and
Mhm.
he was like, it's one of the best animes ever created.
Okay, so getting to know you, Samurai Champloo,
Uh,
you will love.
okay,
Okay,
I'll dig it.
because there's one dude, sword. They're both sword fighters, samurais, whatever. What I'm telling you doesn't change anything in the story at all. But one of two sword guys, and one guy's like a samurai. One guy is basically like a sword street street b-boy sword guy
Mhm.
in ancient Asia. So it's hilarious, but all like hip hop beats, everything. Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, 'cause I don't know how we got there, but we're here.
I don't
We're
remember
here
either.
now.
I just no, you have the internal
Yeah, so yeah, just
people.
talking
So on,
about
sorry.
naming characters because of
Yeah,
the story you tell yourself. So, like one of the things of working with clients and people and just talking is about just how you process your inner story. And I think sometimes like naming characters, saying like, hey man, this is the judge, this is this person, yada yada yada. And even if it's a real person, like
yeah,
naming them in your journal and saying like this is the thing, this is the person that I'm trying to prove wrong. Like it gives a lot of power to how you kind of articulate and create your story.
hmm,
I think that shit matters, man. And on an abstract point about telling your story, here's one I talk about with military dudes, right? If you are a careerist in the army and you are an enlisted man, the identity you have told yourself, whether it's out loud or not, is that money isn't a big deal,
mm,
right? And so I
yeah,
bring that up as another abstract just so you can kind of for some people, they just heard that and everything clicked.
yep,
Everything was like, "Oh my god," you know?
yep,
Whereas, like, some people you tell them, like, "Oh, your inner story matters," and they don't hear anything. They're just like, "What do you fucking mean?" And I'm like, "Well, you keep telling yourself you're terrible at things, and if you tell yourself that enough, you'll go find it and make it true. Your brain will support you in all your thoughts. It does not judge your thoughts. Your brain does not judge your thoughts. It just goes, 'He said we're a loser. Go find
yeah.
data.
Your
Go
thoughts are your reality, right?
yeah.
So yeah,
Go find all the proof of why you're a loser right now.'" And that's what your brain will do. It's gonna be like, go filter it out,
yeah.
but remember that
It's
time
like
uh,
it's gonna see
you
that
filled
red
out
car
mistakes in
everywhere.
3rd
So
grade? It's
yeah,
gonna you're like,
see
"Remember that
the
time
red
you"
car everywhere you go,
Yeah.
and even it'll even warp good things and give it a bad color grading.
Yeah, well, that's the one that the Tony Robbins, Theo Von clip.
I watched that episode. I don't know which part you're talking about right now. I
So
can't
there's a
remember.
part where he tells Theo, he's like, "Hey, man, like, look around for red."
Yeah,
And then he has him close his eye and he opens his eyes,
yeah,
like, "Look around, count
yeah.
all the red things," he said. How many now he goes, "How many things were probably brown or a shade of red or a shade off that you counted just so you'd be right?"
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's
And
exactly it.
so
Yeah.
well, that's exactly it, right? Like, you'll go, "Oh, man," like, again, like I said, like, "You're a loser," and so then your brain will go find a an incident of you tripping down the stairs, but she told you you're a loser. You're like, "What?" Everyone
100%.
trips down the stairs, or like your brother left a toy on the stair and you slipped on it. Now you're a loser because
Mhm.
of that. But your brain will warp that shit into it, man. Because again, and
Yep.
I try and tell people like, it don't judge. It just goes and find. This is the command. You put it in the computer. You put it in Claude. You put it
Mhm.
in your own personal Claude. Go find things to make me stupid. And it was like, remember the time you stuttered at that girl?
Oh, man.
You know
That
what I
is
mean?
like that's I think every dude's been like that when they're a kid, right? Like, you
I
talk to
mean,
some
listen,
girl, you're like, "Yeah."
listen. The other day, I had just got done complaining about people who you say hi to and they don't say hi back. And then, like, I mean, I'm telling you, not even 20 minutes later, a guy walked by me and was like, "What's up, man?" And I went, I was like, fair enough.
There
I,
you go. That's
I deserve
hilarious.
that. Yeah. So, but yeah,
Oh,
man,
that's
yeah,
funny.
I just think that, like, we're again, like, that's the thing I've been talking a lot about that and confidence.
Yeah, actually, I had the thing written down here. Here, I was gonna bring it up next. So confidence, how how is it being brought up to you so I understand where you're coming at it from?
Um, so this is just a question that just continues to come up. I don't think it'll ever be eradicated. Guys, people,
Okay.
yeah, they always go like, well, how do you become confident? What is confidence? All this stuff, right? And I still believe this.
Yeah.
I think confidence is a rep game,
Yeah.
right?
I was gonna say reps. That's what I was gonna say.
But I also think the more I think about it, and I've been trying to figure out ways to be more one, two, three with things, and
Hmm.
not just like broad philosophical frameworks. Is confidence is something you have to act your way into. You can't think your way into confidence, and most people want to think their way into confidence, right? And I
Yeah.
think trying to think your way into
Wait, when you say act, do you mean like fake it till you make it kind of thing?
kind
Because
of. I hate that, but yeah, kind
I
of.
don't like that either. That's why that's how it sounded like when you said that.
No,
Because
what I mean is like
I believe you need the
you have
action.
to do the act.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think you have to do the actions, um, and I think also being able to do the actions with as little judgment as possible,
Hmm.
right? But I think that's the main thing is like, hey,
Give yourself the grace to make mistakes.
yeah, like
Because, like, if you're
why?
thinking about it, and if you're just thinking about it, that's anxiety, right? So if you're just thinking about not making any actions until you do the thing, you don't have the feedback. So you have to give yourself some grace for a mistake so you can build that confidence, right?
Yeah, 100%. I just think it's wild to me that there are so many people out here who start something and expect themselves to be good at it from the
Yeah.
jump, right? And so that's why I'm saying this is like it's you have to say it like, hey man, like I expect you have to act your way into this, right? You can't think your way into confidence no more than you could sniff your way out of a cocaine problem. You know
I've
what
heard
I'm saying?
that. That's a great line from I don't know what movie. That's a great line though.
You know, it's true though, right? Like you can't people, you know, they act like they're this is the thing, man. I'm gonna
You're gonna sober yourself up by drinking more. So yeah.
yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this done, man. I promise. Like, okay, bud.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the conversation is like, how do you become confident? And I think the other thing about confidence is it's also preparation, or what I would call setting the conditions, right? So like it's Monday,
Yeah.
and so somebody's got a plan to, we'll just say, eat well,
Yeah.
eat on target this week, right? And so I would ask, like, what conditions did you set to make this happen? Did you meal prep? Did you buy your meals? Do you know where you're gonna eat your meals? Do you know like is what you can and can't eat? Did you give yourself left and right limits? Did you do anything? And they'll fucking say no. And then they'll be like, oh, well, what confidence did you expect to have?
About accomplishing these goals that you have. Yeah.
Yeah, you just decided to set off into the forest, Zelda, without a night, without a.
Oh, okay. So,
What
sorry,
do you-
sit off into the forest. I'm thinking of Zelda right now. That's
That's
funny.
what I said. I was like,
Yeah,
you decided to set out into the forest without a sword, Zelda. Good job. Like, what are you
yeah.
doing?
So when I heard you talk about saying confidence, I wasn't thinking that because I'm like, okay, so you're being prepared for a goal, so confident in achieving the goal. When you said, "What is confidence?" I thought that was a very broad. So like, just in life, just in how you interact with other people? Like, are people when they're coming up to you, they're obviously not uncomfortable to talk to you about this.
No. So,
So
like,
there's some
usually we're talking
confidence
about the.
there in these topics that are
Mhm.
that are they're struggling with internally, right? And they're comfortable with you saying it. There's confidence in that.
Mm, I think
No?
that's more confidence of trust, right? Like, or trust.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for some people, it's a bigger, larger, like, I don't have any confidence in life. And then other people, it's like, I don't have confidence in this thing. And then for
Yeah.
most people, and my point for most people is like, you're confident here
Mhm.
and then it bridges out,
Yes. So
right?
okay.
It's like when you fix something, like how often, like, especially the day you fix something, you're like, bring me more things to fix, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I can fix everything.
Yes.
And it's, Well, I don't think it's any different in like life as a grander scale. It's like, okay, I did this. I can do that. Of
Yeah,
course I can get YouTube and a couple of tools. I can do anything, man. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
You know what? Spiraling downwards, like, you can fall with gravity, but you can spiral upwards, it just takes more effort, that's all it is.
Well, I think it takes more belief, right? Because that's all spiraling downwards is. Spiraling downwards is just a belief that you're fucking it up.
I think it's also sometimes just inaction too, right?
Well, what I mean is like, so like I think we talked about this on a Thursday call a long time ago. It's like your girlfriend breaks up with you,
Mhm.
right? And then you show up late to work. So then they fire you, right? And then when they fire you, now you're sad because your girlfriend broke up with you and now you got fired. So then now you go home and start a fight with your friend,
Yeah.
right? So is it that bad things come in three, or is it that you're a jerk because you just let one thing affect all of you?
Yeah.
Well, and so that's what I mean. So your belief was things are bad and you just let it spiral.
So
That's
this is
my
gonna be a tangent completely now. I have a
yeah, yeah.
tangent from this. So I'm hearing this. If you hear this, is a very small microcosm, right? But if you scale it out, this is basically what you tell people, like how you stop like generational family shit, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the exact same thing because, like, in this small microcosm, like one thing leads to other. You're just acting kind of on autopilot, and then everything's bad. And this is how generational things come, but, like, you gotta stop it at some point, right? So, I think this relates the same approach is true in both, I think.
One
So,
second.
no problem.
All right, I'm back. My bad.
Yeah, no problem. You can edit that out because you can hear the whole thing.
All right. Yeah, I had to piss. I was like, that's all right.
Hey, at least you're awake this time. Last time, you looked so tired.
I was struggling, man. I was
You
struggling
were
so
struggling.
hard.
Yeah. Even how
I
you're
was,
breathing, I'm like, "Man, you could hear your breath so heavy." So
I was what did I do? I came back into town and then I didn't sleep. I barely slept. Barely slept on a plane, barely slept there, barely just whatever. I powered through and then I got here and I was like, yo, I'm good. I am good. And then as soon as we started, it was like Windows will shut down in 10. And
I
I was
could see it. So I was just trying to keep it going. I was like, "This guy's gonna die." Fuck.
yeah, yeah. I slept so good that night, you know. But yeah, anyways, that's where we were where we're at. The confidence thing.
Yeah. I was just saying that, the same solution in this microcosm of, like, one thing leads to another and it keeps it happening. I think the same thing is that you become aware of, like, things that happen in the family, like, maybe I don't want to have this transmitted to the next generation,
Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah. The
if that makes sense what I'm trying to say
No,
here.
I understand. I'm trying to conceptualize it in a different way, but I mean, I know notes there. I think when I say about it's funny you said it about family trauma and stuff, and I wouldn't challenge everybody's family trauma, but I think that there's an idea that should be explored from a lot of people because you hear people say things like, um, "This is just how I grew up," right?
Yeah.
This is just how I grew up, or this is just how it is, or whatever the case is. And my thinking whenever I hear that is, your mom and dad also probably told you not to have premarital sex, do drugs, or smoke, or drink.
Yeah.
So what you're really telling me is that the reward isn't high enough, right? Because the
That's a
reward was
good
high
one.
enough for you to do the other things,
Yeah.
right? And so when people say that, I'm just always really like, I'm like, I always want to ask, like, did you break parents' rules in other situations? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, but you won't break that rule. No. It's like one of the things other things we were talking about is some of these grand scheme uh ideas in the sense of like I've very rarely met somebody who's severely overweight who doesn't have ridiculous trauma,
That's true. Yeah, I agree with that.
but I also have never really met somebody who's severely overweight who didn't have mom said clean your plate, you know? And so it's one of these things where it's like, well, what else did you take on or leave behind? Because you didn't take it all on. And it's way I'm not an expert, so I'm not somebody come attack me being like, "You think you solved it?" Like, "No, I don't."
You think you solved it.
No, it's just an observation I made, right? So there's also like the other observation is talkers like working with people who have been like severely overweight is one of the questions when we're close enough. What I'll ask always is like, when did you stop taking pictures?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? Because you can see it.
That's a good question actually for more than overweight. That's actually a really good one.
In general, yeah. It's
Yeah, yeah.
general for anybody who has like a negative. It's like here. Here's when we were talking about this weekend is have you ever met somebody who's attractive who doesn't have a profile picture?
Well, I didn't even thought about that. That's so true. That's very true.
Yeah. Like whenever like you see somebody and they have like an alternate profile picture, especially if it's a non like an egg or like
Yeah.
one, you know what I'm
That
saying?
was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very rare. It's very rare. Now, some people have great senses of humor, so their profile picture is something different. That's a different thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as
No,
like
I never thought about that. No, that's actually hitting me hard right now because like, I didn't take pictures a lot because of work because like, it was you weren't public on social media much, so but outside of that, I was in so many pictures, but I never thought about that in this context because that's very telling in a lot of ways. How do you come to this? I'm just curious. How do you come to this?
I just noticed like any of the clients I had, but even before
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
wanting to take pictures with people, family, friends, and they would like freak out.
Do they always offer you to take the picture for you?
No, like so what I've
No.
seen. So like this is here's another one, right? A lot of times these people will have the largest mean streak because this is a defense mechanism, right? But that's not just
Yeah.
for overweight people; it's people in general, right?
Mhm.
People who are guarded by something, and they're typically nice all the other times.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you get near that fucking the opening to that dragon's lair,
Yeah.
they'll bite your head off, right? And so I would notice that I'd be like, "Hey man, like let's take pictures," and it'd go, and it would become like fucking dragon smog would just like
Yeah,
yuck.
the smile just goes away from their face,
And
yeah.
yeah, something happened, and so then I had some clients. I've had several who were really big, and I finally got close enough to them, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, what happened, or what's going on? Did you know you did this, or was this an accident?"
Mhm.
Some was 50-50, like, "No, man, I knew," and others were like, "Nope, I had no clue, just kind of
Yeah.
happened," you know. But I think kind of we drifted off, but like the point for me, is those are indicators, right?
Yeah,
These are
no, I'm so I like this actually a lot, 'cause this is making me think quite a bit, like, I never thought about this at all, so give me a second to collect my thoughts. What I'm trying to say is that indicators. So with social media, the profile picture, taking pictures, showing themselves, I'm also getting the habit of I'm not like taking pictures as much of myself, but like I'm posting these clips and everything, which is like it's fun for me because like it's interactive. I like doing stuff with other people. Um, what other indicators have you noticed uh in your coaching? Because you have done clients that are you're saying kind of on the big
Mhm.
side. Were there any other indicators outside of like social media posting, like that you noticed? Because
Like a lot more intangible stuff than tangibles, right?
Mhm.
More intangibles. I'm trying to think of some tangible ones. Like, of course, you have the like the shying away from like photography, video, um, not wanting to see themselves in general.
Yeah,
Right? Those are pretty tangible as far as overweight. The for other folks is there's some other ones probably. But I'm usually
outs
I'm usually looking for intangible things that like are character traits or I don't want to say flaws, but like flaws or stuff like that that rear their head because of these things, right? It's kind of
Mhm.
like in a backward sense, it's kind of like when I meet somebody who their overarching identity is politics.
Yeah.
My immediate thought is, "What are you hiding?"
Interesting. What you're
Or
hiding. My
well,
immediate thought
so
is
let me
like you
say
don't
it
have
for
an
you,
identity, but I guess that makes sense.
but let me say it better. What problem aren't you addressing?
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that. When you're hiding, I'm saying like I'm immediately thought was like, you don't have an identity. Is
Yeah,
my
no,
immediate thought
usually
right
so
there.
not usually, I don't wanna say, like, again, like, I didn't solve this, but,
You
like,
know what? We're gonna say right now, everything we say is 100% solution. So
yeah,
let's
this
go.
is it. Yeah, we got you guys take this to the bank and draw interest on it.
100%.
Um, but no, like, people who are mired in politics, and don't get me wrong, there's a line, right? There's a
Mhm.
lot, but there are there's usually a a problem or a thing that they don't wanna solve or they don't wanna touch or address, and it's way easier to just get into this thing,
Mhm.
deeply into this thing, instead of addressing that problem, right? It's also it kinda goes hand in hand with the whole, like, assumed identity.
And it's also this is not my fault. That's the reason why things are wrong. I'm not the
Well,
reason, right?
for
So
sure.
yeah.
Anytime that I can go like this
Yeah.
and get away from it, cool. But it's also like it's this thing that too you see with usually a younger generation where like assumed identities matter, right? Assumed identities are a big deal because I don't have to do anything other than wake up and say I'm a part of this community. And now there's
Do
other structure, a backbone, words or terminology, lexicon, like
yeah.
mores it comes with everything. And I think it's the same
Yeah.
thing with politics, right?
Yeah, with everybody being more isolated now with social media and everything, and that would be their way to have some connection to something for sure. Um,
I don't even think it's necessarily about the connection. It is in a small sense, but it's more about the fact that I now have an identity.
yeah, they're being included in a group whether the group is aware or not.
Yep. I
So
get that.
my question to you, because not a father here. So, did you notice that with your kids growing up where they assumed identities that were outside put it in? Or is that more you're noticing now as a more recent thing, it's happening more aggressively because they have access to more information online, being
So
exposed to more things than just in their community?
so I'm lucky thus far. My kids are pretty high agency, and even in the areas where they're not high agency, they're not really interested in assuming those kind of identities. Where like I've
Mhm,
said before, like my youngest girl is fun oriented,
mhm.
right? Fun and laughter. That's it, right? So if she's gonna assume an identity, it would be, be somewhere in there. Like I don't even,
Yeah,
you know. Now, as far as like me seeing that, I've seen it in dudes probably that I worked with when I was still contracting overseas.
mhm,
Older guys, younger women, 20s, 40s, or 20s and 30s, especially 20s. Uh, and to me, it's like this. It's gonna make me sound old, but whatever. It's like once upon a time ago, people assumed identities through college, work, blah, 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 right?
yeah,
Frats,
yeah,
sororities. Then it's like, well, I don't want any of those. And you have to have a personal brand online. And
yeah.
so this personal branding, I think, also becomes diagnosis for a lot of people, self diagnosis.
Yeah, well, self-diagnosis thing
Yeah.
online, it drives me nuts, but
But
yeah.
I think I really do mean it. I don't mean that in like some like shitty way. I just mean like to them, they're diagnosing themselves with a brand or not,
Interesting.
you know.
Yeah, they're basically seeing what works for somebody else and copying it, that makes sense.
I don't even think it's just they see something that works for somebody else. They just see something again. Like you can wake up tomorrow. There's terminology. I'm accepted. I
Mhm.
know the rules. I know whatever, and I also now have a in group. Even if I don't associate with that in group, I
Yeah.
just wake up and I'm just like, yo, I am this.
Mhm.
and you can't tell me any different.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about online in groups, unless you're big, you can do whatever you want, you won't get kicked out of it. There's no repercussion for a bad attitude. There's no
Yeah.
repercussion for
Well,
low
for
integrity or
some groups there
anything.
are. For some groups there are, but
No, but
even
you
then,
have to be actually active in it. You're not just observing and
mhm,
watching, and then you're
yeah,
saying you're part of the group, right?
mhm,
If you're observing and interacting in the group, you maybe have some followers, you have some people that are aware of you, then yes. But like outside of that, there's a lot of people that are part of these groups, but they don't have to actually have any morals or real alignment with it. That's interesting too, if you think about it.
yeah.
Hmm. All right. Do you got some quotes? Because I am getting hungry, to be honest. I need a
Um,
snack.
here's one for about confidence. The fastest path to confidence is repeated execution of competent actions.
Is that you?
No, I don't know where this one's from. It's from one of the deep dives I did on confidence. I was just writing shit down. Yeah. Um, I do have some, I think.
Yeah, let's hear some Hansi originals.
Let's see what we got here. That's not me, but that's about the law of assumption, which I dig.
So I've been trying to work on this one line just for fun, and I have two versions of it. The first version is your words are whispers compared to how loud your actions are. The second one is the lies of your words pale in comparison to the lies of your actions.
Yeah.
But I'm in my head, the lies of actions, I don't think that sounds right because if you're doing an action, how's it a lie? That's where I'm getting stuck with that idea. That I think I
I
like the
mean,
first one better.
I think you can lie through an action based on your intent.
True, there you go. Another one is do you have something to say or do you have to say something?
Man, speak only when you can make the silence better.
Ooh, I like that one. That's actually really good.
Yeah, more
That
people.
sounds like something you heard at work a long time ago.
No, I don't
No?
know. I think read that on a plane somewhere.
No, that's actually really good. Say that one more time.
Speak only when you can make the silence better. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Here's another little quick one on three little. These aren't like quotes, but just about confidence. What do you want to accomplish, and what does it take to do this? By the time or capacity to accomplish this. If not, we don't scrap the goal. We bend it to to what you can handle.
I like that.
Yeah.
I actually remember what I said last week that we should dive into it. I forgot completely.
What was that?
Remember I said my one quote, people conflate the freedom to choose with freedom itself.
Mm,
And then you're like, well, I'm gonna pick option three and break the stick or whatever. I'm like, that's still only three options.
yeah,
So
yeah.
uh so I think sometimes when people get posed a question, in that action of being posed the question, their thoughts get limited immediately. I guess because a lot of questions aren't open ended. I guess enough. Maybe that's what it is.
So you're saying that the question kind of confines them to answers.
Yeah, you can find you. So the idea of this came about because I was thinking about court. Like, so when a lawyer asks you a question, you're not actually getting two options. You're getting if you answer the question simple with yes or no, usually it's like this. If I asked you, is beating your wife bad?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then why did you do it? Right? Because you're on the court for
Yeah.
domestic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your beating a bad wife? Is your beating wife bad? No. Okay, got the answer I want. So you're confined to an answer, and sometimes you use these approaches when you're coaching somebody to get them to a point where you want them to get to as well,
Well,
right?
yeah. I hate answers where the question's already in there, or the answer's already in there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
You want to lead me down the road, and I'm like, I don't want to go down this road. right?
But again, when you're coaching somebody, sometimes you do this to coach them to get them from
Yeah,
point A
yeah,
to
you're
point
trying to
B,
lead them to a place, but
right?
usually I would ask questions that are more like, I try to ask aha moment questions. I don't know how to say that right now other than that. Like when the questions I ask you is like, I've walked you down to the water, like we're here now.
Yeah.
And now
I
I
even
just
fill the cup up for you. Here's your hand. Yeah.
said this. And then you're like, what? And you're like, oh, oops. Like here
Yeah.
you are, surprise. You know. Um, but yeah, yeah, I get that. Say it one more time because there was something that I had that I'm trying not to forget.
People conflate the freedom to choose with freedom itself. Like, if I ask you a question, I give you options, right?
Uh-huh.
Would you like to live in DC or Georgia? But you want to be in California, right? All right. So I only gave you two options. So sometimes a choice, because like, I guess on a grand scheme of things, we can think about politics. You're voting. You have two options, really,
Uh-huh.
but you don't really have a freedom of choice in that, right? Because you only have these two options. It's not the best option. You have only two options, right?
What?
So I guess this is like one of those things where it's like people think when they get options, like if you go to a fast food restaurant and you have options to choose, you're still at the fast food restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I know what you're saying. I still maintain though, and I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna say it anyways.
That's fine.
The option to not pick is there.
Yes.
Again, like it's always break the stick for me, right? Because
Well, I think the option to not pick is actually a better response because when you give people two options, they think they have to pick something.
well, I now this is where I'll say it depends, right? Because
Yeah, it
like
depends.
there
Everything
is
depends.
there is the whole BATNA idea, like right there, like a better alternative to a negotiated agreement,
Yes.
right? Because maybe between the two choices, the choice of nothing sounds attractive until you look at what the actual results are. And so I
Uh-huh.
have to pick what the other one, whatever the one is that suits me best, which
Yes.
isn't necessarily what I wanted, but in this case, it's the best case scenario.
Yes.
It's not what I want,
And
best, but best with what I can get.
yeah. And the flip side of this is like in writing this, the discussion I want to get to is also is like freedom itself on its own without options, is it good or bad? Like it's one of those things. Like I'm not saying that being confined to a choice is a bad thing because it depends on what the choices are, depends on the situation. But how do you like open-ended questions would be the most free, give you the most freedom of response anyway. But it just made me think about like how people use freedom all the time. It's like as long as they have more than one options, they think they're free. But does that also mean that you're not actually playing into the game of whatever it is that's kind of shaping things for you?
Yeah, yeah, I get
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I guess it's more deep philosophy kind of thing. It just when I wrote it,
No, like
I don't know where to go with this.
I think it's good because it is a good little like you know thought crime,
Mental exercise. Yeah, thought
good little
crime.
thought crime, and I I guess my initial thought is I think most people don't truly grasp freedom, you know. And then when it comes to choices and stuff, I think again, like people limit themselves on choices to their creativity. Yes, when you give them two options, it's a different thing. So what it made me think of for some reason is, have you ever heard of the brick and pillow test?
No.
Okay, so the brick and pillow test is this test where they take a pillow and they take a brick and they go, here you go. You have 2 minutes to name as many things that you can do with a brick and a pillow, two different objects. One list for brick, one list for pillow. So you name as many things as you can that you can do with a brick, and then as many things as you can do with a pillow. Go. And so when people go,
Okay.
typically most people might get five things, maybe 10 at the most, right?
Okay.
Even 10 is pushing it,
Okay.
right? Usually five. Um, and then you tell them, you come back and you say, hey, got your five. You say, there are no rules. There are no rules. Go. And sometimes they get a couple more. What you find is your truly creative people get like 12, 15,
They just
even
keep on going. Yeah. Yeah.
and the reason why is because when I said the rule, right? Or even if I didn't say the rule, because if I didn't say the rule, then it's not a rule, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna remember, right? If I don't
Right.
say something, it's not, then it's no rule, right? That's why the silica packets say do not eat.
Somebody ate 'em, yeah.
Somebody ate them. Somebody in the rule.
Yeah.
Um, and so
Somebody just saw dollar signs.
yeah, yeah. And so when you see that, it's your sign to do whatever and say whatever and make up whatever you want. And so yeah, you could be like, I lay on a pillow, right? I hit somebody with a pillow. It's a pillow fight. Yeah, I can be like, I lay with a pillow between my legs. And then you could be like, actually, I'm gonna split the pillow in half and then play a game with the feathers. Actually, I'm gonna turn the pillow into a football and it's gonna be a game of football, right? I'm gonna turn the pillow into a kicking pad for Thai boxing.
Mhm.
Right. So now we just took all these, 3 or 4 random things that have nothing to do with it. We're gonna play a board game with the pillow,
Yeah.
right? Because I didn't assign any rules. There's no
Yeah.
rule.
Yeah.
But what
It's a
happens
camera now.
Yeah. But what happens is you hear do as many things as you can with a pillow, and you automatically build a bunch of fucking constraints
Yeah.
within this process.
Yeah, put some borders around the
Yeah.
idea machine. Yeah.
Even though they didn't exist.
Yeah.
And so I always like that idea of the brick and pillow test because to me, when you think about freedom, you think about options, you think about choices,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, well, you're limited to the choices you can conceive.
That's actually, I think, what I was trying to get to. That makes the most sense there. You're limited to choices you can conceive, and sometimes when people present those choices, that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing
Yeah.
I talked about before with the limits of my language precede the limits of my world,
Mhm.
right? Like if I do not have the language, I cannot articulate a thing, therefore I cannot think the thing. Or I
Yep.
can think it, but I can't even articulate it, so I can't have the conversation with you. I'm just gonna be like, hey man, you ever felt that feeling about that thing when we did the stuff? And you're like, what are you talking about? The stuff and the things that we did with the stuff.
Yeah.
And like, but then some guy comes on and goes, damn, I can't think of it. It's a Portuguese word. It means like, God, it's like a feeling of longing. We don't have it,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
It's this feeling of like longing, but it's not sadness.
No.
And so you have this expression that we don't have in English. So your world's just limited, a little bit more limited,
You
right?
know, it's funny that you say that. Because I don't speak Hindi and Punjabi, like, perfectly or by any means, but I can understand it enough. I'm like and I've always had this thing I would think, and I don't think I've ever said it out loud, is like, it's wild how much bigger my world is just because I can watch other movies and listen to different music here and add different things to it, and different perspectives come through that as well, of culture and whatnot. And in the duality of the language and the culture, a lot of times when I'm with people of other cultures, I pick up on different things as well because I can see the difference from the cultures I'm in, so it's
Yeah.
easy for me to pick up the other ones too. Yeah, having more exposure to a language, and that's one thing I wish I was better at with Hindi and Punjabi, because like, I think it's kinda cool how people have different personalities in different languages, because of how they grasp language is different in each language in each
Yeah, that is
right?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is super cool. All right, here we go. 285 words. Think I can do this without fucking it up?
Deep breaths, have a sip of water.
Here's a piece I wrote the other day. See if I can get this right.
Basically show and tell, right? I think that's what we should call this part of it. This segment is show and tell, basically.
I don't know if this is ready.
Who cares?
All right, screw it. See if I can get this right. All right. This is lessons versus experience. The sun was dropping behind the tree when the boy came up the gravel two at a time, breathing hard. The old soldier was on the porch, boots off, glass sweating on the rail. The dog at his feet didn't lift his head. I figured it out. How you did it, how you mastered the discipline. The old soldier didn't move, he waited. It's the meditation, it's the willpower. You wanted it so bad, you boiled the whole thing down into a practice. You got better at getting better. The old soldier let the words sit on the board a while. Then he set the glass down. You've gone backwards, son. The world is going to sell you 1,000 answers, and I have one. The ruthless elimination of options. That's discipline. The rest is decoration. That's it, said the boy. Yeah, meditation makes you clear. Willpower closes the gap. Wanting it tells you where to point. But the men I know who finished what they started, they took away the option to quit. They took away the option to sleep before it was done, and they took away the option to fail. What's left is the work. 20 years, and that's the answer. And that's the answer. Just make it harder. The old soldier picked up the glass. 20 years of tips and tricks. They all walk you back to the same road you were already on. No options, just execution. The boy stood there. Light went out of the yard. That's it.
I like that. That relates very good to the other part of it. I like that a lot
Yeah,
because
there we go.
I think that's a good thing to bring it right around with uh the freedom thing because like it's not necessarily a good thing just to have freedom. Like if it's just freedom, then there's no constraints or anything. A lot of people don't know what to do, right? And how you put it is really nice because strip of everything away, there is only one option.
It's the illusion of choice. Yeah. When you're, I was thinking about discipline and the fact that, like, if you really think about most people in discipline,
Hmm.
what it actually boils down to is they've given themselves no choice, right? Because I was thinking about, I was going through my stuff for my diet, and I'm getting my diet ready, and I'm like, well, how can I simplify discipline? And it's one sentence, two sentences. And I was like,
Absence of choice.
yeah, the absence of choice.
How would you put in your words? I just took I just said that,
No,
but
that's
does
it. It
that
was
work?
lack of
Or
options. That's what I put.
lack of options? Okay.
Yep. Yep. Discipline is a lack of options. And that option is all the ones you can take away from yourself. It's not just ones and physically. It can be like the choice. You make the choice to not have the option.
The how to make it as short as possible.
Yeah.
Option. That's it. No plural. Option.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's, like I said, and then you look at it and it's like, yeah, willpower matters, patience matters, all these things matter. But at the end of the day, it's lack of options. And that goes back to the Nick Saban thing as the illusion of choice. Everybody wants to win and they want to win. And again, here it goes again. They want to win at all these different options and costs and like maybe this way or maybe that way. At the end of the day, everybody wins as a fucking same thing. They have a practice, they're in practice, and they continue that practice. Whether they're happy, sad, or whether they're boisterous or quiet, does not matter. They are in practice, they stay in practice, and they typically have a story that they're telling themselves. And it doesn't have to be a positive poly story. They have a story that propels them through, right? um, yeah. Okay, there's one more. Let me not screw this up.
Okay. While you're finding that, I saved this one, and it's basically a meme from a movie. And one person in the movie says, I'm a truth teller. Some people can't handle it." The response is, "It's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth."
Mm, yeah.
I'll send it to you.
My last thing was just we're talking about like, as you speak and what happens. Because I've been doing a lot of thinking about affirmations
Okay.
because I have never been an affirmation guy because to me it was too woo woo.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But then I realized the way I talk to myself when I train, the way I talk to myself when I've accomplished any goal, big goals, it's all affirmations.
How do you use Yamala?
Um, Usually like
Mainly
more
just aware?
like a mantra.
That's affirmations.
So the way I think of it is different. Maybe that's the thing. So to me, a mantra is a thing that I'm saying to like, I say this, to like cement a thought or a feeling in, right? Whereas an
How is that?
affirmation to me is
Okay.
like when you're saying At least the way I hear them, right? When people are saying them is like, I'm special, I'm this, I'm that. They're trying to create a feeling. Trying to
Are they trying to cement that feeling in them? Like, they're
Yeah,
trying to
but to me,
cement
it's
it?
not as to me, the 2 are different. Like, I'm not trying to
That's
create
interesting.
it's not a feeling, it's more of
Truth?
a concrete idea,
Yeah,
right?
truth,
Maybe I'm
basically, yeah.
mixing words, but, like, that's how it feels to me. Like, when I say a mantra, I'm trying to say, like, but here is, like, the mantra I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. The mantra I would say when I would right before I would go into a match or something like that, like, or
Yeah.
jujitsu or powerlifting,
Yeah.
it would be, "There are no pacts between lions and men," which is a line from Troy, right?
Ah, okay.
There are no pacts between to me, that's a mantra. That's a mantra.
Mhm.
Like, I'm just
Yeah.
repeating this over and over. There are no that's not about feelings or whatever.
Okay.
Whereas, like, an affirmation is a thought that you're trying to become reality, right? I'm strong. I'm fast. I'm powerful. I'm powerful. Look how powerful I am. I'm fucking strong. I'm strong as shit. And so then I realized I was like, oh shit, I do affirmations. I just don't do them in this frilly way like that. I would hear people saying, like, get in front of the mirror and be like, I'm strong. No, I wouldn't. It wasn't like, it's like,
This is just all I'm gonna think about when you do affirmations now.
that's it. That's it. But what it is instead, like, because I saw Hamzat
Yeah.
Chimaev training, and he was talking to himself, and he was talking to his coach,
Yeah.
and I was like, those are affirmations.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, I've been categorizing them wrong because I saw people on the internet do them silly. And then I started thinking about it even more, and I was like, affirmation turns into belief, and belief
Yeah.
turns into conviction.
Yeah.
Affirmation, belief, conviction, and then, eh, I think then it becomes like a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know,
No, so
a chorus, if you will.
I was when I was talking to Sean one time, is like, and I'm not super religious by any means. I just like my culture and the stories that come with it. But malas and all these things, when people pray, I said to Sean, "How is that different than meditation? It's the same thing,
Stop.
right?" So a lot of these things, when they talk about affirmations and mantras, because mantras, it's an Indian word, mantra. Um, all these things are just trying to take the context of the culture and religion out of it and just do the exact same thing. It's all the same,
Mhm.
right? I just think it's all a type of meditation, right? Like they say, it's walking meditation, there's laughing meditation, there's this meditation, there's meditation with the beads, doing a mantra or just saying the same word, or you're doing a prayer. And if you're praying to God, your feelings towards God, whether it's love, whatever respect, power, whatever you think, becomes that same thing while you're saying the word or the quote, the scripture, whatever you want to say, whether it's whatever faith it may be or whatever your personal belief is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Affirmations.
Yeah. I
So
dig it. I like that.
all the
But like
same
I said,
exercise.
it was just one that I'd never truly considered because
Yeah.
and then when I heard it, I was like, yo, you know,
It's just funny to me because now all I'm going to think about you. I know you're doing it when you're working out, but I'm going to picture you in front of the mirror with that voice.
yeah. I do it when I work out, though. I will say that it's something that becomes either before or after,
Yeah.
especially on days where I feel good. And but when I know there's a competition, there's a couple of phrases like that. There's about 5 of them that I repeat like a madman, and you know,
I think with weights, I used to just say up all the time, but up, the word up itself wasn't up. In that moment, it meant something else. Like, it meant more than up, right? That's what I would do. Just like
the
very
other one,
straightforward, one syllable. Yeah.
I say when I'm lifting, and I only say this just because enough people have heard me say it out loud, is whatever the rep count is.
Mm.
And no matter how heavy it is, I'll be like, you can do anything 8 times. You can do anything
Yeah,
5
just talking to yourself.
times.
Yeah. Talking to you.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do anything 5 times. Like, the first time
Yeah.
Elliot heard it, he was like, "What the fuck was that?" I was like, "Alright." So you do
Yeah.
anything 5 times.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, yeah. Alright, man, we'll shut this shit
Yeah.
down, and,
Perfect. Good as always.
yep, yep, see you next Monday. Where's my mouse? There it
Yeah.
goes.